This week the prince will be tested. The king seems to think he has him bested. The king hopes Prince Eric does suck, so that he can pass the royal buck, because the royal throne he has invested. Now let's talk about the wizardess. She keeps popping up like a buzzardess. She just comes and goes, and whatever she does, she's really beginning to bother us.
Son, your 13-week evaluation is nearing an end. Do you think you're ready to take over the throne?
Yes.
Why? What would qualify you for such a position?
Well, I've gone on my honeymoon trip, and I've hired a wizardess.
Who always pops up, even though she died 7 weeks ago.
Oh, me? Right on cue. I'll just go now. Bye. Yeah, do that.
A truly powerful wizardess indeed, coming and going from the dead as she pleases.
Come now. Can we really call that magic? No, we cannot call that magic. Come now.
I've helped to organize a father and child picnic, as well as won every event I was in. I've been pinned under the couch by the jester.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've spoken with a peasant. I've turned down an alternate career. And I've been through the highs and lows of married life.
Name one high point.
Mount McKinley.
Good point.
It's not called the Point, Jester. It's called the Summit.
Oh, boy, I am dumb, aren't I? Well, I just put my foot right into my big jester mouth now, didn't I?
And I've dug a tiger pit.
Ooh, tiger pit.
Have we a problem with tigers?
Well, sure. You know, lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my.
How do you know it isn't a lion or bear pit?
I suppose I can't really prevent lions or bears from falling into this pit.
Just how big is this lion, tiger, and or bear pit?
Oh, it's a foot or two wide, maybe a foot deep.
And you will catch tigers in this pit.
Oh, yes. And we can eat them.
Ah.
But by eating the tiger that ate the deer, you then are in turn eating all the deer.
Well, sure. That's okay. I like venison. Besides, it's much easier to hunt one lion, or tiger, I mean, than all of the deer.
That's not hunting. You call digging a hole in the ground hunting?
But the pit is only a foot deep. Do tigers come that small?
Sure, little tigers. Bonsai tigers. Well, I don't think bears or lions come that small, though. No, I think they'd look entirely too funny. No such thing as bonsai bears or lions. Of course, the big bears and lions might step into the pit, but then they'd be distracted and they'd just go away.
No, they'd eat you.
Bears or lions? No, they'd be too confused. They'd just go away.
Ah, and this one single wonderful feat is the reason that you should be crowned king? Well, hear, hear. I second the motion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Oh, too bad. We needed a unanimous decision.
And I have learned something else. I have learned that odes aren't funny anymore. Oh, funny fun joke, oh, jokey joke fun. How we wore out the odes, the bandwagon we rode. How we ran them into the ground just because we liked their sound. You were filled with simplicity as we sold our cheap poetry. Oh, ode to my goodness, oh, ode to my gracious. How the viewers must croak when we use the same joke. How it's just getting old and covered with mold. You are out just like Fato. I will go eat a tomato.
That is not either a fruit.
Yes, it is. It is a fruit.
Why are they on salad?
I don't know. I didn't invent the salads.
Just because you didn't invent the salad doesn't mean the tomatoes are a fruit.
Well, hold on. I have a snappy comeback. Shut up. Oh, that's your snappy comeback, King.
Shut up, both of you, before I chop off your heads and eat them.
In a salad?
Yes, in a salad.
Oh, okay. Boy, it's
Got
so
that
much
one.
easier that way.
Time grows short. King and son, evaluate. Prince has learned tons of stuff. Leadership. I'll never win. Guess it shows. Lame character. I don't add to the story much at all. Could go kill. Sorry, Sam. Suicide. But no life can exist without evil. Hunger strike now to end. Pintos and cheese.
Why do you keep coming back?
Me? Oh, I just wanted a bigger part in the show, and I thought episode 5 was a little too early to kill me off. Especially since I was only introduced in episode 2.
But you keep defying death. Doesn't that wear you out?
Not really, it's very simple actually. Mind over matter sort of thing.
You better go now. The king will be here any minute.
What's he gonna do? Kill me?
Death is not something to be joked about.
I would think it was funny.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Hello, hello, hell, capital O, hello with a big hi. Who needs an update? 1993, 1994, 1995. I think I'll just go now. I'll leave her alone. Yeah, okay.
That's funny, isn't it?
Another thing about that person. Oh wait, nothing rhymes with person. I guess I'm just dumb, a really bad chump. I should know nothing rhymes with person. One thing about that girl then, she just drives jokes into the ground, then the queen wants to cry and go bye, and it's not funny when I do it anymore because she already did it then. Shut up, it fits the meter.
Cheesy Pinto. Pretty good. Hungry man.
My jester, you must admit that the tiger pit was rather impressive.
I don't have to admit anything.
No, you don't understand. You have to admit it.
All right, I admit it. Jeez.
Goody. My son, you may be looking at a throne of your own someday.
Well, Dad, I've been looking at inheriting the throne since I was born.
Newsflash, what is it? Some surprise? Prince is in line for the throne? I know, duh, like the prince isn't destined to inherit the throne.
Oh no, I knew it'd be mad, I knew it! I told you, girl, I told you!
I think I'll just go now. Bye guys. See you, Jester. If I need anything, I'll just page you, okay? Okay, see ya.
Does the jester have a pager?
No, of course not. She must be just dumb. Then get thee gone, girl. Gone, I say. I tell you guys, I like that girl more and more every time I see her. I guess that makes her fine. Like cheese.
It's pudding time!
Pudding is served. It's pudding time. It's pudding time. It's pudding time. Well, I guess you're wondering how I fit into all of this. My wonderful husband, loving husband. Oh, I know how he feels. I don't think he's really ready for retirement. We want the best for our son, but we have to think of ourselves too. I love my son. He is everything I've ever wanted. I don't feel my life would have been complete without having a son. No, it probably would have. It wouldn't have been complete without having something, though. Now I can't remember what it is, though. It's probably cheesecake or something. I hope those two, my son and my husband, can work something out. I hate power struggles. So much energy invested into struggling against another power. Somewhere it has to break down. The energy has to escape, and someone can end up hurt. Oh, I just hope no one ends up hurt. Someone has to give. Oh, wait! It's pudding time!
Folks, I feel I must sincerely apologize for what you have seen on this day. And the sad truth is, it gets no better. You see, we hit a wall on this show. A low point from which we don't feel we can recover. And since the plot is going nowhere, I don't feel guilty about leaving you hanging. Oh well. I guess there's no more to be said. Is there, guys? No.
Excuse me. Yes, don't drive on my lot that way, okay? This ain't 500. You would hit my employees, you would have major problems. Okay? It's my store. Don't ever drive on my lot that way again. You will be in jail.
Hello, we're here responding to letters that you, the viewers, have written to us at King Me. I'm Brian White. I play the part of the Prince. This is Jeremy. He plays the part of the Jester. Why don't you begin this week? Not with that, but with the other one.
All right.
Be nice and loud.
Dear King Me, I have seen many episodes of King Me. You are a very talented group. I am impressed that your writers are not doing the same old stuff everyone else does, even though some of it is very strange. I am, however, concerned with the need to use so many socially unacceptable and vulgar words. It appears that you are talented enough writers and actors to not need shock value to demonstrate that talent. Are you afraid that your audience wouldn't be interested without smut? I would like to share your talented program with other members of my family, but I don't want to risk offending or shocking anyone. Will you be doing any shows that are for the general audience? Will we?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
We'll be doing an animated classic called The Loin King. Yeah.
It is possible. Is it possible to use a caption when evil speaks? She is very difficult to understand.
You know, I never can catch a word that crazy broad says.
I can't either. That's okay. It's all right. She's weird in real life too. You can't understand
weird.
her.
I don't even know what language she's
Anyway, I wish the best of luck to such a very talented group of dedicated actors and writers. Sincerely, Mom. This is from my mom.
Ooh. It's from your...
Well, that's alright, fucker.
Oh, well. Yeah.
P.S. Please call home and let me and Dad know that you are alive and well. Okay. Alright. Oh, if you can't do that, just send money.
Well, now that we're famous TV stars. Alrighty, I've got a letter here from a girl named Nicole. What's her last name?
Rose,
Gross.
Grace.
Gross, gross, what's the difference?
Alrighty. In case you're curious, who the dildo behind me is, that's the manager here at Taco Bitch. And he's mad because we're maniacs. Dear King Me,
What did you say?
it's none of your business. Dear King Me, I love the show, especially the prince.
Are they gonna beat us up?
Bye.
They're gonna kick our juicy fat asses.
He was pretty mad when I came in.
He was mad.
He bitched you out pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
You know, if you do that again, you're gonna be in jail.
I mean, nobody can tell, but I'm not nervous. God, the cops are gonna come get me.
And you heard the sirens too. Dear King Me, I love the show, especially the prince.
Shut up.
I know.
Shut up.
I write these, don't I? I must. The Jester is pretty cute too. Second fiddle again. Jeremy plays second fiddle.
How can they walk with their pants that low? How can they do that?
I wish they'd fall, just so I
Do you
could
think
laugh.
they're doing that on purpose because they know a camera's here?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Anyway, I watch the show every Tuesday. Tuesday? We're on Tuesdays?
Oh my God, we're on against Full House.
No wonder no one watches.
Oh.
Indeed, no wonder no one watches. Right, Sunday?
Hey, I was watching that. Put that back
I
on.
know. Isn't it? It's engrossing at a point. It's one of the
Yeah,
reasons I adore this show.
I'm really enjoying the reason why our channel is going to be completely taken down for copyright in a year.
None of these are going to be taken down for copyright. Isn't that nice?
You missed something you had to have. It's like a cosmic rule. I'll be 1 second. I just spilled coffee. I'm really
No,
mad at
feel free.
myself
It's,
now.
it has to do with the nature of things broadcast on public television. It's kind of actually one of the bonus parts of the whole thing of having public channels, public television as a thing. It's a part of the remix culture, part of the old
All
VHS
right.
culture. It's a thing that's been adjudicated. Oh, I am that quiet still.
All right. Welcome to In the Fold, if Brooks hasn't said that already. If he hasn't.
I haven't actually had a chance yet.
Good. Good. Then I win. I beat you.
Feel free. Say, hey. We're doing what we can.
You are peaking a little bit. Maybe just give your mic a little bit more distance.
1 sec.
Okay. Oh, you do that, but you're asserting dominance. I see. Okay. It all makes sense now. Oh, I'm load apparently. Gengaros in chat says Sunday load. Sunday is load. And now you're very quiet if you're speaking.
Just hold on for a second.
Okay, I'm holding.
Gotta run my stupid batch file.
By the way,
This is my
if you
stupid
haven't
fucking thing.
if you haven't subscribed to this shit show yet, we are just under 50 subscribers away from being able to monetize. So,
And
get on
in theory, this should be helping me push a little bit. Am I peaking hard?
it doesn't seem like that way to me. Chat, how's he sounding?
Should be better. Should be better overall.
Okay.
What can I say? It is a frustrating process.
Brooks better still quiet.
Well, we're going to boost me up a little bit. We're going to get me there. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. We're getting
Okay.
there. We're there. This should be pretty good as far as they're concerned.
Well, now that my stress levels are significantly elevated, how are you doing, Brooks?
I mean, I can't blame you. Neither of us have We need to do a stream. We should do all next week. We should have face filters that we've picked on our cameras just to give us that svelte, chiseled look. Just really bring it out. I mean, I just am, every time I watch people with face filters, and then you see like the stuff around them bending, and it's like, do they not know people see that?
No, Brianna Wu is a narcissist. She doesn't know people see that.
It's really bad.
It literally does not know people see that. Like in her universe, other people aren't sentient with first person experience.
And you and I see it. We should do it because we have
going an entire stream without audio issues challenge.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Oh no, we're fucked. That's in some way we owe you money now because we failed the challenge already. Like, oh, that's not fair to do that afterwards. I don't think there was a money prize inferred from that, but I feel bad now though. But we have books behind us. Like, I can only imagine like the weird black hole effect we would end up having as like all the books that are straight up and down slowly go whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah. We have back walls that if there was some mild flooding would cost us like thousands of dollars in paper. So,
oof.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
I think about that a lot. I've got a deck above me. Oh, it would take so little. It would take so little. Just all gone.
I have it stands out more, and I think that debate was deeply frustrating. By the way, I did time it out. The doctor did get a little bit more time in that first half hour, but the rest of it, she gets a significant amount less. So
she also talked more slowly, and she didn't interrupt and was interrupted by the moderator multiple times in that first half hour.
It's actually accurate. She had longer times she was speaking, but Brianna Wu had a lot of boof, 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 boof yells in the middle of things. So it made it very difficult to time out. Mm-hmm. Frustrating. It was frustrating.
It was very. I am heartened by the fact that it was so frustrating because nobody else watched that and came away thinking, "Well, I think Brianna knows what she's talking about." Nobody did. People who would agree with anything that she says came away from that. Well, we don't actually know because she very deliberately did not promote that debate for reasons I
can't believe it.
No, I don't know why she's not super proud of her performance there.
Oh yeah, wait. She's terrible. That's right.
No,
terrible and liar. She's a terrible and a liar.
Hey, look, she held her own against a seasoned doctor, and all she needed was a biased moderator and just interrupt constantly when the other person was speaking. So
yeah, that was rough.
You can be an asshole in a debate, but you have to earn your punches. Like sometimes yelling over someone is perfectly fine if they've earned it.
You and I went fucking an hour and a half Wednesday on fucking Zelda bullshit, and we were dickish to each other throughout.
I patiently indulged your foolishness for a very long period of time.
We were both like just dickish enough to make points and be jabby, but you don't have to be like. I swear to God, like she's doing the thing where she turns up her gain at points and back down, and like it was weird, man. It was weird.
I'm not actually confident now that I think about it. This was on that person's channel, but was he controlling the audio?
There's no reason not to think she didn't pay for this to happen.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, this is sponsored by her.
Sponsored by her on a tiny channel because it's the kind of channel you can pay a very tiny amount to get them to do whatever you want.
Yeah. I also always wonder, how do people find those things? Because like I don't have a 0-person channel. I have a larger channel than that. People have trouble finding my shit. How do you find a channel that's 600 followers and then do that?
Well, I'll tell you. If you're a 600 follower channel, okay, and you have no entertainment value, and you're not very smart, and you have no connections, you might, for instance, jump at the opportunity to go onto a lolcow panel on Wig TV. And if you do that, you will be networked with Brianna Wu, because that's the kind of person Brianna Wu networks with.
Yep,
so,
there you go.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I know Fridays are fun, and
Norm, are they though, really?
They were last week more. I want to spend today, I think we can do some more fun stuff, but I do want to spend today at the beginning on the news that is going to be affecting everyone this weekend and through Monday.
Narrow it
which
down
is-
for us, would you?
I happily will. Look.
Money.
Oh. See Slick? Oh, my lord, see Slick.
Sea Slick, thank you very much.
My lord.
Our Lord Sea Slick.
Actually, our Lord Shai Hulud, who because we are
So we because of Brooks's audio problems.
Yep, just me, 100%.
Because of Brooks's audio problems, we missed a very generous donation from Shai Hulud that will not be repeated. May his passing cleanse the world. Thank you very much for your unmarked support.
I genuinely have felt terrible about it, like very much. I still
Brooks
do.
has gone quiet again. That's shame, Pippa.
No, I'm not quiet again. I'm mouthing "fuck Sunday." That's not going quiet again. That's I'm just going fuck you.
Actually, as far as fun stuff is concerned, can we once we're done with the news, can we dig into? I don't know if you saw that earlier in my stream. Can we dig into that thing where the ancient world actually happened in the Middle Ages and it was a big conspiracy, the Kasparov thing? Can we do that just before we get into?
You know what? I enjoy conspiracy dives. So yes, but again, as I said, the most important news. Nintendo Switch pre-orders have been delayed. This is actually I mean, just to continue, we were talking about Nintendo and its price, and I happened to be on the phone with a friend this morning when this announcement went out.
Yes.
Who works at Nintendo. And it was like, oh, I have to go. He didn't say what, just I gotta go. Because no one knew. This is a thing that happened. Like, they literally were going to be accepting pre-orders imminently, but now not only do they not know, and this is by the way how tariffs work. They don't know what the tariff will be because again, they're manufactured in China from Japanese parts and American chips. So
it's not just like, this is what's important to understand. The country tariffed, that is not the only cost the tariffs incur on them. It also affects every single part that passes through the United States to get to their first, or anything else that has that relationship beforehand down the line. That cost gets passed down eventually to the assemblage 100%. And sale of the Switch itself. So you might think, 30% tariff on Japan, hypothetically. That means my Switch is going to cost 30% more. No. And
it's actually worse than that, because since China overnight upped their tariffs to match ours on them.
Yes.
In theory, as Trump threatened, we have reciprocal tariffs. So we should be upping by the same amount because we're morons. So, but here's the challenge. Let's say there's a possibly 50% tariff on the Nintendo Switch when it comes in. The MSRP of $450 ain't fucking sticking. They're not going to eat a 50% tariff on something that traditionally game consoles have a tiny margin if they have one, and they usually are loss leaders. So having a 50%, $200 fucking tariff on every single Nintendo Switch, they have two problems. One, what the fuck price are they going to set this at? That's actually a really important question, because if that tariff goes up or down, right? This is where they start having to match it. If it goes up, they can't increase the price again once they start taking pre-orders. There's laws around this. There's a bunch of fucky things that it will demolish their business. Two, the price will determine what their through is, which means when you're talking about like COGS, cost of goods and everything, you talk about everything. You have a pipeline. You need to allocate capital to build these units. They've started manufacturing. So how many do they need to build for fall? At a $450 price point, they have guesses and they've set it up. At a $600 price point, the number ain't the fucking same.
Well, it's interesting because something that I was sort of wondering is if the extremely high price point, which seemed somewhat arbitrary, wasn't already attempting to provide a buffer for the increased costs due to the sanctions. But it also seems like no, that's not the case now.
No, I
so
think
this
it's a
is-
safe bet.
yeah.
We know how much Nintendo Switch, because they talk about this. Nintendo Switch is actually a profitable console. It's one of the few times. It's a new thing that's been happening
Yeah.
recently.
Well, because it's a glorified cell phone, but yeah.
Well, that's not really how that works. But they make more than $0. Whereas like the PS3, they would lose $50 to $100 a unit sometimes, depending on where it was sold. That setup doesn't mean that like it's a 40% markup over COGS in order to get to retail. Chances are with everything at a $450 price point, they're probably making $25 to $30 profit per unit, which is not a huge amount. These things, again, are intended to be loss leaders for software that is on them because that's the business model. So at that point, this is fucking crazy. This is crazy shit. Americans are going to see for the first time, I'm going to be trying to smuggle in game shit from other countries. Like, it would be worth it for me to drive to Canada, buy it with Canadian
Well,
dollars.
slow down, cowboy. It might not be unless you want to be held in a detention center with your Switch too, because one of the things that's happening
Nintendo is worth it.
Fair. A whole lot of like Canadians are just dipping over the border accidentally while they're driving.
Now we got a time where the Brooks or Sunday speaks longer.
We know the answer.
Yeah,
we know the answer.
Whoever is the baldest gets to speak the longest.
You win.
I do not.
All right. It's going to be.
Sorry, go on.
It's going to be. It's absolutely wild. And here's because this is the lighthearted version of this. This is actually where we're at today in the stock market. Finally, with the stock market closing, we can say the fear level is, I've never seen it at this level. Like this wasn't this low during COVID. We lost 5.5% in the stock market just today in the Dow, 6% in the S&P, and 6% in NASDAQ today. So
during COVID, there was fear of disruption.
Yep.
There was not certainty of disruption. That's the major difference.
And there wasn't uncertainty of how bad it'll be and what it'll be at any point, because this is the worst thing is like on top of it, we have the tariffs. Okay, fine. We don't know what that's going to be, but businesses are scrounging and they're getting analysts and they're spending time going through numbers. And then Trump comes out and says, yeah, maybe we'll pull them back. It's a bargaining chip. That's all, like, it's insane. It's insane to say something like that. It's layering uncertainty on top of uncertainty and adding to that this sort of random dice throw of uncertainty on top of it.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So here's some interesting numbers though. Like, this is why I find the 6% is really fascinating. 7% is a circuit breaker. So in 1987, there was a massive run on the stock market, to the point where like it just crashed in like a single day. It was fucking awful. So they added in these things called circuit breakers. That's the term for them. Okay. And it does what you think at a certain percentage. I want to say it's 7, 13, and 20. If you hit 7 or 13 in a single day, at both those times, the market stops for like 15 minutes. No one can trade shit. You're done. And then you start again. 20% is the number that ends the trading for the day, no matter what time of day it happens. Instantly, it just ends the day. But this was at a time where, one sec, I want to make sure I get the numbers right, because this was like genuinely horrifying as I started looking back, because I was like thinking through the circuit, but I was like, we almost hit 7% today, which is like a major weird thing to run into. We got close, or we did hit, I want to say at some point during the 2008, like the terror of these things is kind of incredible. But when you talk about like the capitalization of how all of these things work, that 6% today is like 4 or 5 times by a wider margin, I think, than the 7% that was the first circuit breaker the first time around, because it is a percent of the entire sort of setup. So when you talk about the 1987 crash, just to sort of go through the numbers here, because it's really, I found it fascinating. The 1987, the way it was, the Dow lost 508 points. 508 points, which was a 22% decline and lost 500 billion in a single trading session. We lose that like hilariously. By like that happens all the fucking time. That level of cash disappears almost on a whim. Like those are normal, fairly normal corrections.
Yeah.
We're nearing globally, since the high when Trump took office to now, we're nearing 10 trillion in global losses from the overall economy globally. And when you compare that to the fact that 500 billion made us like shut everything down and freak out and create new rules, we are entering terrifying territory.
If that was a pun, I hate you.
Oh, that was a good line. I like that. That was an accident.
I don't. You should be ashamed of yourself, even for that accident. That's something that you had a responsibility to avert.
Yeah,
you failed.
Well, like, so 7% in 1987 was 32 billion in market value. 7% now is 636 billion in market value. So it's like, it's hard to even consider like any of this. They shut down the market over breaking just around 100 billion, like I think it was $98 billion in market value. And like, we lost that this morning before, and no one noticed. Like we're nearing the point where I think we're talking about just in the last couple of days, $2 or $3 trillion just gone from the American stock markets alone.
This is in 2 months. This is 2 months in office. 3 months, I guess. It's like,
this is just from one policy.
Yep. This is like, you remember that Simpsons episode where Homer Simpson has to go back to college, and the Russian nuclear physicist is at the front of the class. And he's like, excuse me, professor, but I actually worked at a nuclear power plant, and I think I know how a reactor works. Well, please come down and show us.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, it is very much that.
All of it's unreal, and it's like what is the premise of the tariffs? The premise of the tariffs is to punish other countries for profiting from trading with the United States.
Yes, that is actually, well, again, the idea of tariffs work in a lot of different ways. The use of them for the Trump administration is clear. Their aim is to use them to offset tax cuts, so that way they don't need to pass 60 votes in the House. That's literally the only reason they're doing this. And it was actually spoken out. I want to share a video. Make sure, let me know if you can't hear it. But this is Forbes, one of the wealthiest men in the world. Okay.
Yep.
And he is going to literally like spell it out. And he did this yesterday. This was yesterday. He just is going to spell this out, I think, cleanly.
And he said it was important to show how, my words, other nations really screw America, whether it's through tariffs, non-tariff barriers, and also currency depreciation, for him to illustrate that. But to hit back, for us to hit back via tariffs, this will be, in the short run, disruptive.
It will be, and the initial costs are roughly what he outlined today, $400 billion. We're still trying to get the details. He's already put on tariffs, raising about $150 billion. So you got revenues on paper coming in at $550, $600 billion. And some of those countries will be reducing their tariff rates. But I think this gives a spur to our friends in Congress. You got $600 billion revenue raiser here. You have disruptions to supply chains, so raise it to $1 trillion. Add $1 trillion of extra tax cuts to the bills you have in the House and the Senate. You could get rid of the capital gains tax. You have massive cuts in the corporate tax and individual tax rates. Remember, and then get.
He's just saying it.
Yep.
They're not even hiding it.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna fuck all of you over. We're gonna make everything more expensive. Many of you will be homeless. Many of you will die. but we're doing this so that rich people don't have to pay taxes.
Literally saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, and he has no issue with it.
Nope.
It's one of the things, again, I miss the days of this where they're like Forbes, Buchanan, Republicans in general were very upfront about what they were trying to do. They weren't kind of confused dumb shits like most of what we've got today.
Yeah.
But he's very, very blunt.
Tell Congress, stop fooling around with the idea of raising the top income tax rate. They say that'll hit the rich. No, it hits small businesses and medium-sized businesses.
That's not true at all.
Which are so-called pass-through corporations. So if you're putting in these tariffs,
It's the
you gotta
story he
offset
tells
them,
himself
and
to
then
distract
some.
from the fact that he's going to hell.
I mean, yeah.
With
But he's going to go to hell in a gilded goddamn coffin.
Not only a big, beautiful tax bill, but a big, beautiful tax bill on steroids. Double it, triple it.
On the tariff policy itself.
I appreciate that he's being honest about it, honestly. Like that's one of the things that
proper villain. I like it.
Because it's stunning.
Yeah.
And the wealthy are coming out and just being very upfront about all of this.
About their boundless capacity for evil, yeah.
About this, and then also saying things like, "Yeah, it's not going to be that big of a deal." If you don't mind, I've got a couple other clips that are. I mean,
Let's see them.
I don't find them I don't find them sad. I find these like, this is, as much as it is depressing, the reality is they're now just saying the things. Mm-hmm. And as they do this, there's enough people who are going to go, wait, what? Capital gains tax is the reason you're doing this? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. They won't, because the base of these people are unfathomably cosmic.
The base of 20 to 30% of them, maybe 50%. I think there is a lot more people who kind of are in a different place than that. They're not super. I think it's more varied than we want to admit. I don't think it's a 48% of this country kind of thing.
I don't think it's 48% of the country, but I think it may be 48% of the people are going to vote in a way that's efficacious, because that's one of the problems you're up against is a whole lot of people who would be motivated to then vote against this in future, assuming they're allowed to. They don't vote for the other viable option. They vote with their hearts, and as a result,
Wisconsin does show.
Wisconsin shows there's pushback. Yeah, absolutely.
So
like they are harming themselves politically in a dire way.
This guy I wanted to go over because I have Sure Shot sent me a couple of links that I very much enjoyed it. But these are when you start having people like this. So this is like when they have Mr. Wonderful on, or Mad Dog, the whatever his name is, the guy that hits all the buttons on CNBC. Yeah. Terrible show. They have these like talking heads who themselves are like useless bags of human shit. This is here's how they introduce him. I'll let that go.
Chief Executive Gerald Storch. Gerald sitting next to me, as a matter of fact. The former Toys R Us Chief Executive Gerald Storch.
Former Toys R Us Chief Executive. He was, but that's kind of an interesting thing. When was he Chief Executive? Oh, he was Chief Executive right after Bain Capital bought and turned them into a pile of shit that was ladled with debt. And his job was to manage the debt so that way they could pull everything out of the company over the course of 8 years. And that's what he did. He's not a real CEO. He's not a business grower. He's not actually a businessman. And you'll hear how very quickly, but I just want to mention this. The company also acquired the struggling FAO Schwartz, the oldest toy store in the country, and the threat from Amazon grew 3 rival websites as well. Storch remodeled stores to combine toy and baby business, introduced exclusive products that would be sold at full price. Yet for all of Storch's efforts, when a significant amount of debt, $725 million, came due in 2009, Toys R Us had to take out additional loans, backed by mortgages on more than 100 properties, to repay it. Leveraged buyouts do this, and the CEOs of these companies who are rewarded very handsomely do this too. Because who do you think they do the loans with? Bain Capital. So all of the land that Toys R Us owned, which was a huge amount of retail space.
They were big stores.
Amount.
Yeah.
They were massive stores. But suddenly they didn't. Instead, they mortgaged their own land to pay back debt that Bain Capital saddled them with, and that this guy never spent time repaying outside of interest, because, you know, they made it interest payments of $400 to $500 million a year. And then that they killed it. So he actually oversaw the slow draining, like a vampire, hinting at conversations to come, a vampire of everything that's coming. What?
I hate that so much. Sorry, go on. No,
the draining of the company to a husk.
Oh, he's still doing it. Sorry, keep going.
So enjoy his economic analysis here. It's amazing.
Joe, sitting next to him, as a matter of fact. You ran one of the biggest toy stores in the world. How would you have handled the present situation if you could expect China-made toys to go up 10 to 15% in price? How would you handle it?
Well, first of all, they're not going to go up 10 to 15 or 20% in price. But no, I think this whole thing with the tariffs is grossly exaggerated by a factor of at least 2. I don't know what. Because
why did you say that?
Because the tariffs.
Why do you say that?
They're only in the cost of goods. They're not in the retail price. So you put a tariff on the cost of the goods of 20%. It doesn't mean the retail price goes up by 20%. Not unless you can buy everything at cost somewhere.
What?
Yes, I'm actually asking you to tell me what he meant.
Play that one more time. I'm sorry. I need a process.
No, this is up there with like the stupidest shit I've seen. And he has another thing he says that's hilarious. But this is just like this is one of those things like the book reports do, and you just make shit up. This is that level of absurdity.
Because the tariffs are only in the cost of goods. They're not in the retail price. So you put a tariff on the cost of the goods of 20%. It doesn't mean the retail price goes up by 20%. Not unless you can buy everything at cost somewhere.
So he's saying because he genuinely
doesn't know what a tariff is. What the fuck?
No. He's technically right in that you don't. Nintendo is going to be charging $450 retail for the Switch. It's not on $450. It's on COGS. So the shipped sunk cost for the retail purchaser. Right. So it's a $400 purchase, $350 purchase. And he's saying that a 20 or 30% tariff on that won't increase the goods because it's not on the retail price. It's on the COGS. Wait, I lost it. That's it.
You lost what?
I was trying. I lost my train of thought. I was trying to make sense of this garbage.
You can't. It makes no sense.
This is
because the tariffs are only in the cost of goods.
You don't understand, price. Okay? You don't understand the tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs aren't raising the cost of imported goods. They're just raising the cost of imported goods. So we're good. It's not going to be reflected in the price. You know, the cost of producing a thing, that's not reflected in the retail price of things.
Never.
They're different.
Retailers are always happy to take less money.
Listen, Nintendo is run by people who are filled with love for their consumer base. They will eat that cost just to make sure that you can play Mario.
Do you know how fucking stupid you have to be he was a VP at Target prior to this. CEO for like 8 years or
Didn't
whatever.
Target fail?
Well, he wasn't the reason for that, but he did suck.
Target in Canada failed. I don't know if Target's still a thing in the US.
We still have Target everywhere. But those two things, these are retail companies, and somehow he never grasped the business principle of margin. Like supposedly he's a business guy. Pippa is I actually do think that's what he's saying. The tariffs increase the cost to the reseller, not the consumer. But why wouldn't he's saying literally that it only increases costs at this place. He doesn't understand that there's other steps that it's like saying,
well, hey, the reseller is now spending more money on a Switch. Is the reseller going to downsize their business to accommodate the extra cost of the Switch? No, they're going to raise the price of the Switch on the shelf.
This is how stupid these fucking people are. Again, when you see people who are like career CEOs and people who've only ever done this, and that's all he did. He got out of Harvard Business School. His history is hilarious. He got out of Harvard Business School and went right to being leadership at Target and 3 different retail chains. When you have someone
or something
no, he worked at what's the management consulting firm? Mick whatever. I don't give a fuck. whatever it is, one of those shit large scale consulting firms. Like this is who these people are. Their job is to bullshit. Their job is to bullshit.
McKinsey and Company?
McKinsey, thank you.
Sure. I had to Google that.
It's one of the, there's only 4 left. Like they all own each other now.
It looks like there's, when I look at the 3 large consulting firms, I get Bain, which we were just talking about. I get Boston Consulting Group, and I get McKinsey.
Yeah, Bain's not like a sizable, they're money wise, they're massive, but like interesting. It doesn't matter. Like this
is also Google's AI, so it might be bullshit. I don't know.
It's I'd be hesitant to put Bain in this.
Apparently they're referred to as the big 3, so
management consulting
must be. It might be like the
I mean, they're some of the worst. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He sucks. And you're about to hear further lies, and that's why I like this.
So you put a tariff on the cost of the goods of 20%. It doesn't mean the retail price goes up by 20%. Not unless you can buy everything at cost somewhere.
That part I don't get at all. Not unless you can buy everything at cost somewhere.
Well, that's why I'm saying I don't think he knows what a tariff is. It's like
it's a. It's weird.
It's weird.
Additionally, when they put tariffs on toys back in the first Trump administration,
they didn't. Just so you know, here is a flat lie, and it's how fast he does it. Trump threatened toy tariffs and never did it. Never did it. It never happened. It never happened. It never happened. Flatly, just never happened. You can look it up. The White House said that they decided not to be Grinches, I think was the phrasing they used. They literally, like it was a Christmas thing. So here he is, just flat
you can buy everything at cost somewhere. Additionally, when they put tariffs on toys back in the first Trump administration, the studies show 87% of the increase was borne by the Chinese manufacturers.
He's just lying. Like he's just making this up.
Is he referring to? Is he okay? So he's got like numbers. Is he referring to like something else that wasn't the tariff?
I can't find anything that has to do with toys in China and studies, and I couldn't find the 87% number anywhere. Like, and these are things that if you put them in right in Google, you can kind of get at least something that's pointing to it, or somewhere else someone repeated the same shit. But no, points to him and people talking about and using these numbers in articles today. That's all I could find.
And they have everything to gain and nothing to lose by keeping the sale rather than have it moved to America like a lot of it will do.
No, it won't.
Wait, hang on. No, play that last part again. I need to hear it one more
by the
time.
Chinese manufacturers. China has a huge toy industry, and they have everything to gain and nothing to lose by keeping the sale rather than have it moved to America like a lot of it will do.
What?
All
not
right.
if it's for not. Oh my God.
He's saying that toys in America that are made in China, that the Chinese manufacturer would rather keep and have a minor loss or eat a little shit and lose a little bit of profit to keep the overall business than have it switch to America, which he claims it will do, which it won't.
No, I think actually people are going to be lining up to work in the toy in the little plastic soldier toy factories, Brooks, in a couple of years of this.
If it was like the movie Toys, I would. Otherwise, I'll pass. Thank you very much.
That movie was horrifying.
The movie was wonderful.
It was.
Robin Williams is a genius, way ahead of his time with it. If you haven't watched it recently, I watched it too young the first time, and then I watched it again a few years ago because someone did this speech with me, and I went, "Oh fuck, it's about the defense industry. it's not even about toys. It's really, it's really dark." But he's an idiot because there is no way that the
Storks, not Robin Williams, to be clear. Robin Williams was taken from us way too soon. He should have been preserved for eternity. Sorry, continue.
What do you mean?
I was making a joke.
What's wrong with Robin Williams? He was in Toys.
Yeah, and he was great. No, you said he's an idiot, but you didn't.
No, not. Yeah, true. Not. Well, yeah, fair.
Robin Williams was great, and he's an idiot. Sorry, continue.
No, Storch is a fucking moron because he thinks if you haven't done it, toy manufacturing is actually a fascinating process. Tooling for toys takes a long time. Tooling for anything takes forever. And you have to spend a lot of time going back and forth because there are factories that manufacture every part of the machines, and then the machines that make the machines. And then on top of that, the parts for the different parts that attach. Like, there is so much work, 6 months, 8 months.
It's one of the reasons, by the way, why Lego prices are bullshit, because the beauty of Lego is you don't need to retool every piece for every single model.
Well, and it's why if you ever, the first Avatar movie, there was a bunch of characters that came out that weren't in the film because they had such a hard lead time that by the time Jim cut entire characters, they already had the toys out on shelves. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I got a kick out of that. But this takes forever. And again, the number of things that are part of that process, from the way that oil is turned into the very specific types of plastics and things that are used in toys, the manufacturing of all of the mini parts, those things, there's a entire pipeline of all of that going to one place, two places. Over the last few years, a lot of people, a lot of manufacturing has tried to diversify away from China because China's been dickheads for a while. And lo and behold, they're not coming to America because that doesn't work. They're going to the rest of Southeast Asia. There's Africa is being a thing, India, parts of even Southeast Europe, like manufacturing spreading. But these tariffs are literally going to hurt those people the most. It's going to actually be more sensible because it'll be more cost effective to return everything back to China. Oh, Barbarian, thank you very much.
Barbarian, thank you for the 690. Much appreciated.
So it's the idea of this is the level of stupidity in 50 seconds, the lies is so fucking amazing. And this is what I've been mainlining. Like, I've been loving watching this because these guys are just scumbags across the board. And they're just liars, like, in every single way.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing, though. There's a level of stupidity where it's like, is this even a lie anymore? And legitimately, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, it's not even that, like, oh, he's covering for shit, which he is. It's like, how do you say this with a straight face?
I don't know. And then they put up these numbers, which aren't indicative of anything. I'm trying to figure out, like, what time of day this was or what they're trying to show, because in the last 5 days, and this was yesterday, Hasbro dropped from like $62 to $53 a share. So like this, I don't even know when this was or what, like they're trying to show like there wasn't damage. This is just one of the weirdest things. Like the Dow is up 12 points. That has not been a thing. So it's like, if you didn't know, by the way, Fox took off their stock ticker as of like yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they started removing it from things because it's just horrifying. It's horrifying.
Hang on,
but
wait. No, that was false.
What was false?
Hang on. Wait. That's interesting. Hang on.
What was false?
So this is curious actually. So Snopes is saying that they didn't remove their stock sticker after Trump's tariffs because it was just the market closed for the day. But a lot of other websites are pointing this out too. So I'm wondering if there's some bullshit happening with Snopes. Because like legitimate sources are saying this.
I've read it on a lot of places that are generally pretty good about this stuff.
So what's the logic that's of saying it's false? Hang on. Claim Fox News removed a live stock sticker from its broadcast for the first time in 28 years when the stock market crashed after Trump announced sweeping tariffs on April 2nd, 2025. False. Context. Trump's tariffs announcement occurred after the markets closed at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. No live ticker appeared on the screen because stock trading had ceased for the day. The reality is that Fox News has never included a live stock sticker in its graphics on a continuous basis. Further, at the time of Trump's announcement, the markets were already closed. For these reasons, we have deemed the claim false. It seems like the idea that it always had a stock sticker on, taken very literally, is really motivating this. Because the question would be, okay, so is it going to show up is it going to show up tomorrow then? Because what's the date today? So this would have been yesterday. Has it gone back up? Because if it's gone back up, then there you go. But if it hasn't gone back up, then that's an interesting question. Like, why? Yeah, so here we go. Fox Business, on the other hand, keeps live tickers running for various indexes, showing the index's status at closing. For example, at 4 p.m. on April 2nd, moments before Trump was due to announce the tariffs, Fox Business presented the same ticker that appeared on the screen during the live Fox News broadcast of the tariffs announcement. However, even in the minutes after the top of the hour, the ticker has disappeared to announce upcoming guests. As of April 4th, 2 days after Trump's announcement of sweeping reciprocal tariffs, Fox Business tickers indicated stocks were failing. So it's I don't know. It's maybe. Like it's one of those things where
I
it's
saw
like
it on it passed around. I can't find it right now. I found it on MSNBC and CNN too as jokes and laughing at them
from 6 hours ago too. Like so the Snopes thing is recent, is from 26 minutes ago. Like it just posted. And what I'm wondering is like I don't like, as a general rule, I don't like fact checking websites for the simple reason, and I don't understand why people are. This is the one thing I've that's always confused me. When you're talking about fact checking websites, it's like, okay, so you want an arbitrarily set up group of people that you don't know or understand to tell you what claims you find on the internet are true or false. Sort of like the people you were trying to vet in the first place. And there doesn't seem to be like an elevation there. It's always very odd. And typically, it's not so much a problem when their goal is just to maintain general neutrality. But it comes out a lot when it's like anything super politically charged. It's like with Twitter notes. Like a lot of them are bullshit. A lot of them are true. A lot of them are bullshit though. And it's giving the veneer of like verification when none's taking place. It rubs me the wrong way. But this one does seem to be correct. It seems like people are kind of jumping the gun a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see if there's a reaction to that. Because if that's
we'll
not
find
true,
out.
then yeah, we'll find out.
But again, mostly just because it's kind of funny. It doesn't even really matter because like they're actively saying a Janine Pirro saying, did you see the clip of her by chance?
No, not yet.
1 second. It's one of my favorite little bits of her recently. She's a fucking horrifying bitch too.
Yeah.
But she had the line where she said, it's not like I'm not worried about my 401k. She's worth like $14 million. But this is, I trust Trump, and this is just going to be the pain. This is the thing that they're going with, is this is the pain.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice
I'm willing to make.
I'm willing to make.
This is the mentality across the board.
Yeah.
And it's
and you want to know what's funny? I'm subscribed to Mencius Mold, to Curtis Yarvin's blog, to his Substack. And you know what he's been posting? It's like, hey, maybe it's probably not a good idea to start putting people into vans and sending them to mega prisons. It makes us look kind of bad, guys. Just maybe, possibly. Like the clowns who thought that the pawn of the billionaires was their guy. It's hilarious to me. It's like they don't care. They don't want your Skyrim vision of the future, guys. They don't like you.
No, they don't. They hate all the poor people.
They hate the poor people. They hate the less rich people.
Here's Judge Janine.
You know, when President Trump first started going after Canada and Mexico, everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're our neighbors. They're wonderful people. Why are we doing this? We love the Canadians. Well, the truth is China is making cars in Mexico and Canada and not paying a tariff on them and selling them in the United States while they are putting a tariff on our cars. Look, you're going to tariff my goods, but I'm going to lay down and let you roll all over me and sell your stuff with virtually no tariff on it? Enough. And this is what Donald Trump ran on, and he's delivering. And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today. You know.
Hang on. Wait. I can't. Yeah, I bet you don't. I can't get over this weird circular logic where it's like, I can't believe they are unprovokedly tariffing our goods after we tariffed them first. What the fuck? Those assholes. Like, what? You started
the worst. They're the worst. These Chinese, the way that they're building their stuff in countries that aren't China. Like, this is the part that I'm trying to figure out, I think, constantly is, yes, isn't that what you want? Is that the goods aren't made in China, that they'd be made here? So, like, they're not made in China and then sold here. That's what's happening. They're making them in countries we have friendly deals with.
Yep.
And it's benefiting those countries. Like, somehow the goods are still Chinese to her, though, right? Because there would be, because she's a fucking awful racist. But again, I just love the line, I'm not worried about my 401k. The woman who's worth tens of millions of dollars with a salary of $3+ million a year from Fox alone on top of book deals and TV residuals. Yeah, she's really going to be a 401k person.
You know what? Not that I can afford it, not that it isn't important, not that I'm not at a point in my life when I should be worried about my 401k, because I am. But this is what I believe. I believe in this man.
She has the most. I just noticed just how insanely plastic her face is that it terrifies me. Like, her eyes don't move. Everything above the mouth just isn't there. It's not real.
I believe
she's not real. It's fake.
She's not real.
Seeing now with his bringing in $1 trillion in business and manufacturing and companies,
which he hasn't brought in. Like, this is the part that, again, every time they say this, he's brought in $1 trillion. The stock market lost $6.6 trillion today, by the way. Today. In the last 24 hours, maybe that's the 2 days. 2 days, it's 6.6 trillion. Just in the United States, not world markets. Just in 2 days. So, bringing $1 trillion of investment in.
So if you read about people jumping out of windows in the news.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you will. This is, we're at that point. It's horrifying.
He's moving back to the United States and seeing what we saw during COVID when we couldn't, we had all those supply chain problems. We couldn't get medicine in this country. Other countries were prioritizing themselves before they were sending stuff to us.
Fun fact. Do you want to know a fun fact?
No.
Medicine is exempt from the tariffs, so there's no pressure for those companies to build anything here. So by this line of reasoning is irrelevant.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with it. It's
Yep.
If they were right, which they're not. But if they were right that these tariffs would force people to bring them here, you've exempted medicine. So
it's about time we recognize we've got to have manufacturing in this country, and we need to bring them to the table. And Donald Trump is the only one who can do it.
Did I catch that in time?
Did you catch what in time?
I was just having this massive sneeze building, and I was struggling to, like,
You're
carefully
good.
maneuver my mouse over the mute button. Okay, good.
Because he's got the biggest consumer base in the world. He's not afraid of anybody.
You want to talk about consumer bases?
Look,
this is one of the things you're going to hear consistently, and you heard it from him before, that China doesn't have a choice but to sell to America. We're their biggest purchaser and everything. It's one of those things that, like, they don't understand how statistics work. It's true that we are the biggest purchaser of goods from China, toys and other things, but that is as a single country. A lot of people, and especially Jeanine Pirro and these other racists, view us and the world as like us, the world, and China are three countries, basically. And that's how their mind works. We are about 15% of Chinese exports. That's it. We're the number one, but we are 15%-ish, 14.6, I think at last I saw. Hong Kong is 8% for them. Like, the need of them to abide by and do whatever the U.S. wants, we don't have the fucking upper hand that we think we fucking do.
No, it's this weird blustering of like, hey, we have all the cards, you have none of the cards, so we'll just break everything, and then in your desperation, you'll come back and on your hands and knees begging for forgiveness, and you'll take whatever shit deal we give you. But it's like, no. There's actually we have a storied history of this. When you remove all financial incentive for a country to work with you, they don't come begging. They build connections with other countries, because that's how that works. you're where you are because other countries built those connections with you. It'll be someone else's turn now. That's what's going to happen. Like these people are so stupid. It's like, congratulations. You just paid for the end of American hegemony. He would talk about how we're going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. You just unseated America from its place in the world, and you are paying for it out of pocket. And it's probably going to poison the country against your party for the next 2 elections, if not more. Because we're not at the point yet where we're feeling the consequences. That's going to come very soon.
So as a note, you'll feel them Monday. Americans will, not you as much. I think you will feel it.
We'll feel it. Oh, we're going to feel it. We're going to feel it.
Everyone in the world will to some extent, but Americans will feel it Monday because it's not going to take long for people to understand, retailers, to understand the cost of goods landed and what they're paying for it for manufacturer suggested retail, what they're paying for it wholesale. They're going to start seeing those numbers go up as of today. And so Monday, they're going to go to all of the televisions and all the stock that they currently have, Costco and all of them. I would be stunned if they didn't preemptively add a shit ton of money to all of them, presuming future costs that are going to be landing 2 weeks. We're like 2-3 weeks behind. We know how long this takes. Like, fuck.
And good news, Carney's looking pretty sweet right now. Massive upgrade so far. We'll see if he disappoints because they always do.
Carney?
But Mark Carney, the new PM.
I don't pay attention to your state.
It's no, but he's been making very bold statements about putting money into affordable public housing. He's been taking.
You're seeing this in the EU too. There's a lot of there's actual resistance to this.
What you wanted from the Democrats is happening elsewhere because your guys are rotten to the core, but it's happening elsewhere. Well, again, we'll see. Nothing ever happens, as they say.
I think it's one of those things that
it's a genuine populist turn in reaction to what Trump is doing, which I think is a positive because it actually is a way to distinguish yourself now, where it's like, hey, we're not going to eat you, vote for us. Or you could be Polyev and be like, hey, we're going to eat you, vote for us, and we'll get rid of
I think
one
it
trans
has to
woman
do with,
down the street.
It has to do with what I think is the fundamental mistake. And it's one that I'm not sure any of us could have called particularly or were confident in. The power of the U.S. in terms of business is sizable, regardless of what anyone thinks. But the question of whether or not the power of American business to do what Trump wants to do with it, to throw around this weight and to just make money off of stuff and people will just accept it and countries will accept it. I don't think anyone thought that it would go this badly. And it has. China said, fuck you. Canada's saying effectively, fuck you. The EU is talking about, even people in Britain, the fucking UK who just did Brexit are talking about sort of already rejoining the EU. and as a counter to Trump's tariffs, this is backfiring across the board. I honestly don't think either of us could have predicted that the US hegemony was that weak.
And here's the thing, Trump's administration is absolutely fascistic, but it has some wonderful distinctions from fascist governments in history. First of all, in that, while Trump's administration is fascistic, the things it is currently embedding itself into and breaking apart is not itself intrinsically fascistic. They don't have the kind of mass support that you need to survive this kind of thing. They don't have the kind of They fear their base in a way that lays bare the fact that they are not actually being pushed forward from some broad popular movement. There are a lot of very vocal, very fearful, very pathetic people that are giving the impression by just kowtowing whenever they have the opportunity at the few town hall type events that they allow at this point. Typically towards people who aren't even in government, like Elon Musk.
If I may, though.
What's that?
If I may, I want to talk about, just because we're talking about good things, I'm going to talk about one Democrat. I hate Gavin Newsom. I fucking hate Gavin Newsom. Did you hear about this?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Newsom said he will seek trade deals that will spare California itself from retaliatory tariffs. Newsom is going to go like
they're going to fucking break
treason.
the union. That's what they're going to do.
It's committing treason. Like
no,
straight
they
up.
are. We haven't even talked about this. The United States is a federation of states with their own governments, their own armies. They are independent. They don't need the federal government to run. Trump may very well break the union.
He has absolutely done that.
Do not represent.
Because just to mention, in Washington and Oregon, leadership there is already saying they will join. So we're talking about a West. People don't understand how trade works. There's like really 3 countries. There's like New England, the West Coast, and kind of the rest in terms of like economic systems and how they're involved. And the West Coast is absolutely where everything comes in. It's where just everything comes in. It's astonishing. And New England would be the other piece for that. And so when you start talking about like this level and you have Oregon and Washington joining in, the entire West Coast forming its own trade union alliance with the rest of the world is fucking crazy to be there. But his point, California makes up 14% of the US GDP. It's the 5th largest economy on its own, separated from everything else in the world. And they don't care. Like this is gonna come to a fucking hard head with Trump and the government. Like this is shots fired shit.
Represent all Americans. And on behalf of 40 million Americans that live in the great state of California, the tentpole of the U.S. economy, 14% of the U.S. GDP, the 5th largest economy in the world, the dominant manufacturing state in America.
It's actually true. No, it's the number 1 manufacturing state in the country. I mean, clearly because of the number of people, but also because of the industrial base that it's had. Like this is where NVIDIA makes its chips, is California.
State of mind is around supporting stable trading relationships around the globe. And that's why today I've directed my administration to look at new opportunities to expand trade and to remind our trading partners around the globe that California remains a stable partner.
That is fucked up. Like that is like,
we're our federal policy where we're trying to literally fund these massive tax cuts for the rich, but this is like a federal. We're going to undermine that openly. We're just going to flat out just undermine executive order by the president. I love it.
Yeah.
It's
going to get really wild. And I got to tell you, I'm curious how that'll go because again,
pray it's like Victoria 3 and not like Hearts of Iron 4. Basically. Because like seriously, like
Trump has removed all the leadership at the Pentagon that are uniformed. So his connection to the actual standing military is weaker than ever.
Yeah.
So his ability to actually demand things is going to get weaker and weaker every time he does this. And he's done it a few times.
Yeah.
And as that weakens and as people in the military stop being, the people in the military are true believers, however you may feel about them. And they're fucked up in a lot of ways. They are true believers. And when you start removing that chain of knowledge, the chain of American history, they're chained back to the founding fathers. That's the mentality for them. And Trump's cut that chain, like he sliced it in half. You've got a very different kind of problem for him. It's going to be really wild.
When you have an addition to this, like arrogant tech billionaires just openly putting veterans into job insecurity and poverty amidst all of this, and there has been no effort to remedy this relationship with the military. Like they're seeing people who leave the military just be completely fucked over without any additional support. Now tell these people, hey, there are these renegade governors that are they're violating an executive order. They're breaking from our plan to make all of your families go into poverty and everyone you love have no future. Go kill them. They're not going to do that. That's like there's no you need to have like a lot of emotional power with a lot of people in order to contain something like this by force, which I think.
And the business relationships. Someone in chat's asking, I thought NVIDIA made all of its chips in Taiwan. A lot of them. But what does making a chip mean? Like here's the thing. We've built a stratified global capitalist economy. Yes. So what does making a chip mean? 100% of the design work happens in Santa Clara. Like 100% of the design work. Manufacturing is TSMC in Taiwan, but also New York, if you didn't know. And Samsung, I think, is also making some these days.
Yeah.
As well. Which is like, so it's complicated. And all the materials from that are not from any of those countries. Like that's the other side is this is how supply chains work. So where are tariffs happening? How are tariffs going to be charged and how are they coming through? It's absolutely insane. It's insane again, this is why Gavin Newsom has pull in a lot of ways, because as the wealthy, and they are pulling away from Trump, as the wealthy business owners and tech bros who are just like, NVIDIA and Intel and AMD and all these companies that 100% make up a lot of Silicon Valley, and really make the sort of long-term power there, to be frank, they have manufacturing there. It's not 100% of it, but to kill the chip exporting business or the design work here and then not have it come back to be built in China, like to destroy that entire industry is effectively what Trump is doing. So he has a lot of sway in order to sort of shift that and play with that in a lot of ways.
So this is kind of interesting. I linked a Politico article in this submission thing.
Yep.
And it seems like cracks are showing even on the inside. Obviously, like with the Signal thing, we saw some of them. But in addition to that, because Trump has clearly been taking counsel with people like Elon Musk more than his VP and the people who are actually in his government. But it looks like,
good Lord,
it looks like it's just falling apart. Because again, like when the Signal thing happened, Trump seemed genuinely stumped about it. Like his response was not.
Oh yeah, he had no clue.
He had no prepared response. He had no idea, to the point where he undermined himself by speaking about it. And in that Signal call, we had Vice President Vance saying, the president I don't think he understands what this is doing. I don't think he understands the nature of the decisions he's making, paraphrasing. And earlier we'd had leaks from the inner circle talking about how there was like serious friction between Marco Rubio and Musk over Musk just, first of all, bullying him in front of other elected representatives about not firing enough people, but also because he was firing people that Rubio needed to do their jobs. It looks like Trump is getting forced into a position where the consequences of this just insane train of stupid decisions and just deferring to insane rich people who don't know what the cost of a carton of eggs is. It's breaking up. Sorry, go on.
The internal workings of his entire cabinet have to be so fucked up. Like, that's all I can think.
I don't think there are internal workings. I think it's literally just he came into power. He's fearful of people around him. Because, like, remember back when he would like invite like Kanye West and Nick Fuentes, like, this isn't somebody who makes calculated decisions. This is someone who goes, oh, this famous person likes me. Invite them in, yeah, and that's it. They don't think about why. This is someone who. This is Brianna Wu as president. That's what Trump is. Seriously, this is somebody who is completely divorced from the actual real consequences of the things they advocate for, the decisions they make, and so on and so forth, so that he is able to just detach from the world, pull in people who glaze him, remove people who don't, and then down the line just sort of put band-aids on things until his term's up and somebody else has to pick up the pieces. That's fundamentally what's happening here. When you have the VP going into a Signal chat, which is made specifically so that they can have conversations about top secret military decisions off the record because they don't want their incredibly stupid head of state to be seeing it and interfering, saying that, like, hey, just so you guys know, I, the vice president, don't think the president knows what he's doing. It's bad. It's really bad.
Yes, it is.
So the article, if we can just scroll down, I'll start reading if you don't mind.
Please.
I love this subtitle. The president is pleased with Elon Musk, but the decision comes as the tech mogul increasingly looks like a political liability. This is from 2 days ago.
Fuck.
President Donald Trump has told his inner circle, including members of his... Sorry, go on.
No, I said fuck. Sorry. This is just, everything breaks for me when we start having these conversations, because it just becomes like, if I go back in time, I was having a conversation with someone where I'm like, man, I recommended him for a job in 2010. It's the last time we talked, and we caught up again today. And it was like, man, what a different fucking world. Like, what a different world. And it's just, I feel insane saying some of these things. Just the sentence alone got to me. Sorry.
If Trump keeps this up, what are the odds that he doesn't finish his second term?
I have theories on him not finishing his second term anyway.
If I were these people, just to be clear, like, yeah, you need to understand. Imagine if every single major power in the world, regardless of how they react to the tariffs, regardless of how they react to whatever decisions you make, every major power, including Ukraine, China, Israel, Russia. See where I'm getting at this? Like, because it's also going to affect Russia negatively too. These are crazy, stupid decisions. But Ukraine in particular. Imagine you're looking at all of these countries with tremendous amounts of money put into espionage, military, et cetera, paying off people who do those things for a price. And all they're thinking is, wow, everything we've built up is at risk. In some cases, our national existence is at risk in the case of Ukraine. And the only thing that is making that so maybe occupies about the same amount of physical space as like a pig in a butcher shop. They're thinking that. Everyone is thinking that. There's a reason why this platform, for example, is very much cracking down. I've noticed this, by the way. You showed me this recently. So my channel was demonetized for a very strange reason, and we were confused as to why. I'm not even going to say the name because of YouTube's like censorship at the moment. But I learned something recently because Brooke shared it with me. Other channels have been similarly shut down, and it had to do with anti-industrial political activism.
No, but we're not going to say a name.
We're not going to say a name. I'm not saying a name. I didn't.
It was a guy in a cabin that everyone's heard about.
I didn't say a name.
I know. I'm just making sure, because what you're about to say, I just want to. It's that serious, actually. Maybe.
No, but like in all seriousness, though.
1 sec. I'm fixing a thing.
What the hell is this? Cannot display article due to security restrictions. What is this, Brooks?
This is me fixing. I fucked up the stupid headline things. Just give me a second to fix it, okay?
But did you make this?
Yes, I've been coding this since yesterday. I forgot to put it up today, the new version.
Freaking nerd.
Fuck off.
Turn it off. Okay.
It's back. I had to adjust it.
But like, no, but in all seriousness though, like, there is genuine fear right now that when stuff starts to crumble, people are not going to be able to predict where shit is coming from, which is going to encourage people to throw shit, because those are the conditions under which it's relatively safe to do so if you are a venturesome entity with lots of resources and a military and a lot of incentive to stop this stuff from happening. And
pretty much
it's like, you know who I'd be scared of if I was Trump? Conservatives. Like, it's not the Democrats.
I'd be scared of business people. They're the ones who do this. They're the ones who take care of things.
Israel, Ukraine, like these are people who have people at the ready to do this. Israel's kind of famous for this, as an example. Like it's like, this is so dumb. All of this is so dumb, just from like a survival point of view. It's very obvious that the people who are in charge right now, because the reason why this didn't happen to this extent, anything like this the first time, is because Trump had to deal with people who knew what their jobs were, knew the stakes, and there was some background pushback. Even though the decisions were terrible, there was still the capacity for management. That's gone because he's surrounded himself with yes men, because being a yes man at Trump was the condition of rising through the party. which means they've screened for incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're all just pushing buttons. They're just pushing buttons. They know what the buttons do. It's like a first-time player of a Paradox RPG, but a lot more complicated. And it's a lot. You can't save scum anymore. And
well, and all they're trying to do is they're in position and just going, what can I do to make more money? To make more money myself. How do I get rid of taxes? How do I do this? How do I scam the American people as much as fucking possible? Like, that's all they want.
Which is giving them too much credit, though, because here's the thing. If that's what they wanted to do, Forbes is an example of someone who does that. You know what's an example of someone who doesn't do that? Of someone who is clouded by ego to the point where they endanger themselves personally? Musk. Because now these people are now going on stage and saying, hey, guys,
yeah, that's probably
it's fair. All me. Like,
that's probably fair.
But like what you wouldn't do that if you were being shrewd and cynical. You do that if what you're really after is for people to love you and think you're really cool, which you don't want to be. If you're telling people, hey, yeah, you can't pay rent, that's because of me. And guess what? You can't pay rent the next month, that's still because of me. And you can't pay rent the next month, that's still because of me. You can't buy food, that's because of me. Guys, it's all, I'm right here, I'm on a stage, you can see me. There's nothing between us but air. Like, why would you do that? Unless you're really stupid.
Unless you're really, really fucking dumb.
Unless you're really fucking dumb.
And I think they are. I think they're just stunningly stupid. And it's over and over seeing the same thing, thinking through that. It is terrifying to me, actually, how dumb they are.
Yeah. And that terrifies me additionally because I don't know what happens if they continue to be dumb and there is a level of unrest that they don't feel like they can tolerate safely. And they try to call in the guard as they've expressed they wanted to do over and over again. And what happens if guard don't listen? Like it's, or if some of it does and some of it doesn't, like, I don't know.
I don't either.
It's like, you have to understand, like, the fact of what California did means that Trump is now in a position where he basically has to accept that a state is engaging in treasonous activity, overriding the decision of the president, and just take that, or he has to somehow not. What does that mean? Like, and I think like the one saving grace here is he seems to be very weak and very impressionable. So he seems to have like constantly kicked the can down the road. He's ruined some of his credibility. Even the threat value of the tariffs has been like significantly hampered because he kept delaying them, because it became increasingly clear he didn't know why he was doing them, or what the actual numbers had to be, or what the actual narrative he was spinning was for why he was doing them. But it's just like, oh, there's that dog again. There we go.
That is a loud doggy.
That is a loud doggy. I am well protected, at least. Hey, shut up. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, fuck. The whole thing is just so fucking screwed up. And as we talk about these people, and it's one of the things I do have one more clip I do want to watch, just real quick.
Okay, let's see.
Because it's like, this is the line they're going for kind of across the board. And I want to just sort of hit it dead on specifically, because this is 2 minutes. This is the thing, and they're seeing it everywhere. This is what they're pushing with.
Now, I got to tell you something. For a nation that is consumed with the notion of fairness and fair play, it's surprising that Americans have bought into the media line that somehow we are being unfair to our friends by demanding fair trade. Check out the existing trade barriers right now, folks.
Can I just say very quickly? His suit looks like the silver pale variant of like a Super Smash Brothers costume. I like it.
He is the variety of Ness that no one picks.
Exactly. I was thinking of Martha, actually, but yeah. That's one I always pick.
You would.
Trade barriers
I
right now,
would.
folks. This is G20 nations, our friends. Look at the very bottom of that list. Look who has the lowest barriers. I mean,
these people don't understand how trade works. Like, it's a fucking stunning thing where they're like, hey, we make it easier for everyone in the world to do business with us than anyone else. I wonder if that may have contributed to our position in how those people do business with us and why everyone does business with us. I wonder if there's a reason.
it's crazy.
This fucking is taking forever to load.
Look who has the lowest barriers. I mean, it's crazy. Now, of course, some would argue, hey, that's good for consumers. I argue, yeah, but it's better for corporations, right? American consumers, to be quite frank with you, need to consume less, save, and invest a whole lot more. Now, I'm going to be giving a presentation at
The poor people need to invest more. Okay. Okay.
With
They'll
all that
invest all
money.
their surplus. Got it. Okay. Got it. Cool.
This is what they're going to do. This is the play they're going to make, because this is the...
Hey, you people living paycheck to paycheck on the verge of homelessness, yeah, you just need to do what the billionaires do, okay? Just do that. It's so simple. Just invest. Invest more, okay? Move your assets offshore.
On my slides. As we have transitioned from a nation of builders and farmers into this so-called service economy, look at
Look at that. We're mostly not agriculture anymore. We've
this. It's
also,
nuts.
sir, that's a picture of the sun. What is that? I've never seen a graph like that before. What the hell is that?
it's probably a little fuzzy because of the filter.
It's really
on.
okay. It might be because it's really fuzzy because I can't.
I mean, it's not much better. I'll take the filter off and you'll be like, never mind. One sec. There, it's off.
Oh, I see. Okay. No. Because it made the top and the bottom look like they were the same color. It's like, what is that? It looks like a grassy field from the savannah.
So his
I guess
argument
it's a grassy
is
field, isn't it? So,
that the percent of our economy that is agriculture is less, despite the amount of agriculture we do being more than ever and the amount of money we make on it being more than ever. The percentage of our overall economy that it is less. The same with industry. Instead, we've moved to a service economy because, again, they don't understand anything. And this is Fox Business. All of these clips have been Fox Business, by the way. This isn't even like mainline Fox News, which is like you have to like actually shove a chopstick fully up your own nose and swing it around to get moved from Fox Business to Fox News. So just imagine how dumb Fox Real takes are. So this is what he's claiming. So just watch. It's great.
What have we done with this? Well, guess what? We've created 4 economic classes.
Well, if this is, one sec, let me see if I can refresh it. This is loading like ass. Nope, it's just this fucking one video.
Why? It's YouTube.
Need to consume less, save, and invest a whole lot more. Now, I'm going to be giving a presentation at the Money Show this Saturday, and I want to share just a couple of my slides. As we have transitioned from a nation of builders and farmers into this so-called service economy, look at this. It's nuts. What have we done with this? Well, guess what? We've created 4 economic classes. The elites, the educated elites, the baristas who serve them their tea and coffee. We've got a few blue-collar folks left, and then what I call the placated poor. They're given just enough so that maybe they just don't make that move to get off the dime. Now, overall, I think we need to rethink the entire system. That and I hear people saying, "Well, listen, it's,
yes,
got to
I love
right?
this.
Because the dollar's worthless."
The four classes: borderline homeless people. What was the other one? Baristas, and the elites, the college students.
So here's the thing. These are signifiers to people like my father, actually. These are signifiers. This is the barista class who they've convinced themselves are kids or college people or 20-somethings or older who went and got a wasted humanities degree and who are just doing it for fun. That's what the barista class is. I'm not joking when I say this, by the way. Like, I don't believe this. Like, to be very clear.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't, but
You know what a barista is, by the way, in 90% of cases? It's somebody who couldn't get a job at another fast food place, because that's what most coffee shops are now. You're not talking about artisans. You're talking about people who work at a coffee shop. You're talking about people who work in a cafeteria. You're talking about people who work. You're talking about people who follow instructions, fill a cup with something, and they do this for 8 grueling hours every single day because they have to make rent and pay for things like everybody else does, including a house and so on and so forth. And a lot of those people, by the way, a lot of those people who are getting, America being absolutely famous for its robust social safety net, because it makes sure that its poorest or don't fall into having to supplement their income with crime or end up on the streets or whatever. Those are also those people, because they're not making enough to live because their minimum wage is terrible. I can't get over the top class being college students. That's beautiful to me. I love that. I am your master now, chat, just so you know, okay? That's how the world fucking works. You look up and you see me, okay? With my political science bachelor's degree.
I mean, this is what they're doing. It's an insane step. This guy, because he's really the worst at it, because I don't think he believes anything he's ever said. I've watched him a long time, and he's very much token. That's why he's there. And his existence is to spew this shit in a very particular way. And he's very clearly not into it. And so it's really fascinating to watch. I want to kind of rewind so he says those things again, because I loved the class distinctions. I thought were my favorite part too. Fucking YouTube. What the fuck?
Is that a YouTube? I think it's a you thing. That's a YouTube thing.
Few blue collar folks left, and then what I call the placated poor.
And elite educated, barista, blue collar, and placated poor.
By the way, all 4 of those are poor, just so you know.
Yeah, and blue collar makes more money than barista.
Yes, and more money than elite educated class in a lot of cases.
Well, no. See, for him, elite educated are lawyers and CEOs and business people. Educated only applies to those things. Okay? You need to understand, Sunday. Your
That's
degree...
Right. You don't need nobody needs college degrees for blue collar work. That's not a thing. No, everybody just pops in. They just come to the front door with their resume. Gee golly, mister, can you teach me how to build houses? Why, sure, son. I mean, they do that, to be fair. But, you don't weld like that anymore. I don't know. You're not building the railroads.
No, you are not. You are not. These fucking people.
You can build houses, though. That is actually there. If they're building any houses. That's something here that's happened. All of the construction's just come to a standstill because all of the materials they need exploded in price. Nobody's buying luxury homes. Nobody's
no one
refinancing in order to add to their homes. It cascades. And this is long before this went into effect. This is just downstream from COVID. Still.
Yep. And it's going to be that
ready.
Way.
Oh, no, it's not, because guess what? We've got 1, 2, 3 more pandemics on the horizon. Measles is back.
Oh, God. I mean, okay, so imagine you're a parent in an area where there actually
polio is back.
Imagine you're a parent where there actually was a measles outbreak.
Yes.
And what do you do? What is the thing you do? Because a lot of people, again, have this misunderstanding that, like they did for COVID. And again, they overstated it for COVID. And I genuinely will never understand why they went to if you get the vaccine, you'll never get sick, which is not how any vaccine has ever worked in the history of anything.
No, the vaccines help your body fight a disease. They don't stop you from getting it. They stop other people from spreading it as much, maybe if their symptoms are milder.
Yeah, and you don't know if your kids, say a 3 and a 7-year-old, are more susceptible.
Yeah.
So do you go where and how? What do you do? How do you have people and have friends and do these things? It has to be, and this is where you start getting into the horrifying part of it. You have to be able to have conversations where you go, hey, are your kids fucking vaccinated? That's a question you have to ask. Yep. And if you ask the wrong person, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna get so fucked. Avian
I
flu
mean, just
is
in case in point,
avian flu alone.
we can't even talk about this topic here because it'll get flagged. I'm not even kidding. Like that's how
true.
stupid this is. The company that owns YouTube gave Trump how much money? Like $1 million? Like literally
I
$1 million?
think it was 10. I think it was 10 million.
10 million. I think you're right. Actually, it was 10 million.
That's what the tithing was to their lord when they met him at his castle in Mar-a-Lago.
Remember, social media has a left-wing bias. Okay, they've been persecuting the dissidents this entire. No, I think actually what's been going on is they're you can be a billionaire tech elite and still be a fucking moron who doesn't know how the world works. That's the big revelation to a lot of people.
That is absolutely the truth. Because again, Elon Musk doesn't understand anything he does.
No.
If you ever get a chance, Mr. Wonderful is one of my favorites. Mark Cuban is another. Mark Cuban, who made all of his money on the internet, and everyone's like, oh, he's a tech guy. He founded broadcast.com. And if you don't know the story, he claimed it would be the future of all television and radio broadcasts. And they used some open source software to do some broadcasts and just sold it for like a fuck ton of money.
I just think, look,
broadcast.com, he sold the fucking website. There was no IP. There was nothing else. And they just got scammed.
Listen,
and that's how he made all of his money.
Here's what I think. Okay. I think this is what we need to do. Just collectively. This is what the left needs to do. We need to get together. We need to set up a plan. Okay. To make it a thing that homebrew, personally built submersibles are just the coolest thing in the world, and you're a loser unless you have built and designed your own submersible. Okay, and we need to make this thing. We need to make Elon Musk know that the only thing that's keeping him from the universal love and admiration of everybody in the world is that he has a submersible and he's gone to the deepest depths of the ocean.
Made with carbon fiber, hopefully.
Made with novel materials. Okay. Yeah. You can have it built by Tesla.
Oh God, I hope it would be built by Tesla.
We'll call it'll be you can call the company Expiration, okay? It'll be great.
Yep. He won't do any of that. He is not the adventurer. He's the businessman who sits back and waits for dividends, because all of his stuff is ultimately a lie. We're never going to Mars, no matter what anyone wants to say. That ain't a thing in our lifetimes or your kids' lifetimes. Enjoy the fantasy. That's just not how that works. There's no reason for us to build bases on Mars. Certainly not.
Oh, yeah, there is. If you're a crazy person, you want a slave population that has to be your friend.
This is
that's the whole seasteading thing too. It's like they want to build on the sea. Why? Well, because now you've got a whole bunch of people that you own. That's the fantasy.
It's that they're able to sell stockholders in on it, and they're able to make fuck tons of money. They can leverage into debt.
Has Steele made much money from his seasteading shit?
I don't know if Teal, they've all made money from everything. Just awful. To finish though.
Yeah.
Because this video is never going to load.
Just enough so that maybe they just don't make that move to get off the dime. Now, overall, I think we need to rethink the entire system. And I hear people saying, well, listen, we've got it pretty good, right? Because the dollar is worthless. So we're getting stuff from other countries for nothing. It's a bargain. And I do agree that the dollar is shot. There's a problem.
The dollar is worthless. What?
Yeah.
Okay. The dollar.
A lot of problems with
the dollar is worthless, so we're getting stuff for free. Did he just say that? Did I have a stroke?
He did. He said this.
Okay.
The dollars kind of generally because I looked this up, there are some upwards and downwards small trends of but it's not anything wild. I think we're at the same point we were 6 months ago. I don't even know. This shit is, again, he's just fucking out of his mind.
Dollar, but blood, sweat, tears, all of that goes into getting those dollars, and that means something. Moreover, when we hand over this cash to other nations, what do they do with it? They buy U.S. assets, like our businesses and our farms. And think about this for a moment. China, They're building new cities. I'm talking about this stuff they're doing. They're building dams that will change the axis of the earth. They're building new cities. What are we building? We're building football stadiums.
Dams that will change the axis of the earth. That's interesting.
And we're building football stadiums. So this is, remember, Republican right, the party of don't tell us what not to do. We should be free to have all the soda and sports in the world. How dare you get in our way? We care about all that too. Asceticism, asceticism, asceticism. That's all they're screaming about.
Yep.
Because it's all they care about when they're in power. When they're not in power, it's all they care about yelling the opposite of.
No, you have to understand, capitalism breeds innovation, okay? That's why whenever like billionaires or big companies take over small local businesses, the quality shoots up every single time across the board. Because they're just out there looking for little innovators just rising from, they're looking for the cream of the crop just pops up and they just lift them. And they absolutely don't just like buy them up and buy all their competitors up and make everything into the same low level shit and then just spread that everywhere and squeeze out all possible competitors so that everything declines. They don't do that. No.
Not at all. Why would they? Why would they ever do the thing that's that thing?
They're capitalists. They're not about making money. They're about doing the right thing. They're all this is what they do when they're do you think they're vacationing when they're not on television? No, they're in big think tanks working out, okay, going on like retreats to keep up that warrior physique, and they're discussing Ayn Rand. That's what they're doing, okay?
I was watching Musk in his latest thing. There's a scene in Silicon Valley where Gavin Belson, who's the CEO, the big tech asshole in it, where he's on stage and he starts talking about how the billionaires of today have it possibly even worse than the Jews of the Holocaust. And it's one of the most amazing scenes as he slowly dives into it and then he doubles down and doubles down and doubles down, and just gets more anti-Semitic and awful with every single line.
Wait, this is Musk or the TV character?
This is the TV character.
Okay.
But the problem is, like, it was 15 years ago. It was a joke, but it's not even like, it's not satirical anymore because effectively, like Musk is saying, billionaires are under attack. It just reminded me exactly of this Gavin Belson moment. Just painful shit. These fucking people, man. What are we going to fucking do with them?
Speaking of these fucking people and what are we going to fucking do with them, guys, there's 194 people watching the stream and only 77 likes. What do you think this is? Why are you freeloading baristas?
Why are we even talking? Jesus.
Why are you freeloading baristas? Okay. Blue collar workers, the lot of you. Shame. Shame. Not like us. Wealthy. College students.
I think my favorite Gavin Belson line in it is, and billionaires didn't even do anything to deserve it, is one of the best lines in that entire scene. It's like,
that's good.
Fucking amazing.
Like the stream and subscribe. I think we're up to like 40 away. Are we 40 away? We are 44 away from being able to monetize, guys. 44 away. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe.
Please do, please do, please do.
Please. We can't afford eggs, okay? This is why Trump won. People didn't like and subscribe to tiny left-wing channels with no following. That's why. It's your fault. It's the audience's fault.
It's going to be funny for a second again. Deal with it Sunday.
No, Brooks, don't take your anger out on me. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a fair response. What the fuck? Why isn't this working? That's all right. That's that one. Come on. Where's the other piece? There it is. Stupid fucking thing. There it goes. Why can't it just copy over exactly every time? It's frustrating.
And here's the reason why you shouldn't subscribe, apparently. Thank you, Brooks. It's well timed.
Hey, what can I say? I waste everyone's time with a lot of stuff. Hey, there's no audio issues this time around. Just minor volume things. To be very fair.
I think they haven't been able to hear us and they're just being polite at this point. It's pity.
I wish I could disagree. I wish I could disagree. Something happened with my fucking OBS overnight and got all fucked up. It just
really
pisses me off.
Imagine my shock.
I know.
No, surely not. No.
I know, it's almost like I spend so much time fucking with all these settings to try to get it just right, and I end up fucking everything up even more. Are you
I like
shocked?
you're relocating the camera to all those parts of my room I specifically didn't want on the stream, but there you go.
That's not my fault.
Yeah, it is. Also, I'm not high enough.
There you go.
That's better. No,
Much
that's
better.
worse.
What?
There you go. Never mind.
You're just fucking, damn it.
I'm running 3 channels right now, and it is so tiring. Oh my god.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I've been writing my my new essay. It's my problem I have with this partial object series for the QC. The goal has always been to like do smaller pieces and really get in. That was like, I did Resentiment. It was like 15 to 20 minutes. And then Desire was like 30 minutes. But I don't think I realized that as I get into more complex things, like I got Social Coding. That was like a fucking hour video. And then this one is about the nature of paternalism and Oedipus within the space of representation and how we understand goal making. That's not a 20-minute fucking video at all. So that's been eating me alive, this channel. And then on top of it, the QC and the readings, because I've got 2 book reviews I've got to catch up on. So it's been eating me alive on top of work, which is like, Jesus. Because this isn't even work. This is like fun. This is my fun.
I'm recording video essays. I'm running 3 channels, which have gone down a little bit in their time span, typically about 2 hours each, but that's still 2 times 3, so that's 6 hours for 3 channels and the video essays, which is a lot, by the way. Oh my god, it's going to be so nice when this channel's monetized, and at the very least, it's like pulling
$20 would be
consistent.
good. I could do $20.
$20 a stream would be good. That'd be nice to get like $100 a week for.
I could survive on that.
Yeah,
not at all. But it would be it would at least cover up like, I don't know. I think I drink that much tea every week. It would cover up my tea costs. That would be lovely.
What kind of tea are you just like eating puer pellet like pucks like cookies or what?
No, it's just 2 tea bags a day, but it's not even fancy shit. I just am so tired. I'm just so tired, I think. Because it's to talk about the tariffs, like let's talk about personal cost. So I know for you, you've been streaming. That's been your income. Yep. I have been consulting and working in video games and development, and I have my own companies for 7 years. The last 6 months, consulting gigs have dried up. And on top of that, there is no capital for investment. I've got some phenomenal software I've been helping build and working with. We're trying to get, finding someone who will, fuel the engineers for a little bit because we have some work to do. There's nothing. There is one of the funds that I was talking with for a very minor injection that wouldn't have been much. I wouldn't have been able to take any money from it. Literally just said that actually after like 3 months, actually we're debating on closing the fund. I'm like, really? That's like, okay, cool. You are fucked.
Well, how about my channel? So like here's the thing. My channel is not a super high view channel. Sometimes stuff has been doing well. Like it's been consistently upwards of 5,000 views per video generally, give or take. Some of them have been like upwards of 24,000 even. But like ad revenue is not very much. What I primarily depend on is donations. So one of the things that made me able to survive having my channel demonetized was that I was already relying on donations to begin with. So when I transitioned over to Patreon, and it was a cut, like it was like $2,000-$3,000 down from ad revenue. That wasn't nothing, but I still had my base covered through donations through the Patreon. So by the way, a reminder, if you want to help support my channel personally, join the Patreon or subscribe to this channel so this one can get monetized so we can start bringing in a little bit of ad revenue again. But leaving that aside, like, here's the problem. As all of these things come crashing down and all of these individual people in these different industries start feeling the effects themselves, people have less money to donate for things. This goes across the board. This is just like me on YouTube. Yep. Oh no, think of the poor YouTuber. But now you have to think about like anybody else who's in any kind of business whatsoever that has to do with leisure. Anyone who's involved in like entertainment, anyone who's involved in like even service industries that are now seeing like a massive decline in business and so on and so forth. Like this affects every single person. Anybody who relies on patronage, anyone who basically relies on any kind of surplus in order to justify the expense because it doesn't have to do with like the bare conditions of living. Because where's that money going to go? You're still going to have a little bit of surplus. It's going to go to booze and drugs and whatever you need to cope with the fact that everything is crashing. So it's like it's bad. It's not just like Every single
it's
person
everything.
at everything.
Across entertainment.
Literally everything.
I have friends who are like, because as people know, I've been in entertainment for a long time. I have friends in Hollywood, television, and film, and no one is getting scripts greenlit. Like they've now sort of, this boom that happened when Netflix sort of started putting money in, and Prime and Apple TV, there was this big explosion of development, has all collapsed as they're all sort of realizing that they only need to do X amount of stuff, or things that they already own, or they just buy and shovel shit out at a certain price point because they know what they can do. But getting something funded for anything beyond that is next to impossible unless you're already someone who didn't have to worry really in the first place.
Well, exactly. There's exactly one kind of person who's going to be insulated from all of this, and that's the kind of person who can stand losing the life savings of an entire city.
Yep.
Before they feel it.
Well, this is how you end up with like Annapurna or Sundance, not Sundance, Skydance, who do a lot of films. These are companies that are funded by the Ellison's kids, Larry Ellison's kids. They're billionaires' children, and they can have flops. They can blow an insane amount of money on a shitty video game, 50, 60, 70 million dollars, $100 million, doesn't matter. And then they're insulated. And so you have this really weird like mentality. It's one of the reasons my buddy Evan and a bunch of people at Annapurna, they all quit at like the same time. They all just walked out because they got to the point where there just wasn't proper management or money or funding. Things were fucked. But, you know, Annapurna doesn't care. These people don't give a shit. They just keep doing their thing. And the working people are fucked across the board. The creatives are fucked. Even, and again, actors, which are part of a union, which are workers, as much as some of the names are huge money. Most actors are working fucking actors. Most writers are working writers. Most directors are working directors. There's a handful of James Camerons and the other likes, but those people are like, there's a handful. Everyone else is like, okay, cool. In between ad shots, I'll make my personal film, or in between this, I can work on my dream project. And they're working on trailers and other CG or other VFX for large companies. VFX teams are hollowed out, and they're cheaper than they've ever been, and they're closing left and right. Like, we're seeing just this massive contraction in the entertainment industry. The games industry is seeing it. TV is seeing it. Streaming is seeing it. Everything's
Hey, have you noticed it's taking like 5 years for an anime series that did really well to get a second season? Like, that's not because it's suddenly gotten harder and the technology hasn't streamlined the process as much as possible. It's because they're literally just there's not enough personnel. Like, no, just everything's being shaved down, and what's left is being squeezed more and more.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely it.
Yeah.
And on top of it, again, it was one of the things that I think I was really surprised to see. A lot of the people who are more on the money side of things, they are politically, I would just say, leaning more towards Trump because of the taxes and everything. But the thing 100% of them are saying now is, I'm out of the country. Fuck this. This isn't the thing. The one thing everyone thought Trump would do is like unleash capital, because capital would open up. It's what happened with Trump the first time. And following that, capital just began flowing like mad. It's how we got the crypto push. It's how we got a lot of gaming money, VR cash, everything from Trump the first time around. There was a lot of money that started flowing, and it was the opposite. As soon as he hit, there was an explosion of investment that disappeared almost overnight and continues to. And so the business world is basically seeing no money spending anywhere. And it's actually a terrifying thing. I haven't been in the place that I'm in financially in the first 3 months of COVID. I had a company at the time, a VR company that I was starting up, that collapsed because, of course, VR, location-based VR was what I was doing. And that died as soon as COVID shut down everything. So all the funding pulled out. Everyone was like, yeah, we're not doing installations of VR for people to stand next to each other during a pandemic. So that disappeared. But even during that, there was money waiting for other projects. If you could find something to pitch, you could find the right people. There is nothing. And it has been a solid 6 months of like testing out things and working with different possible investors or possible people. And 100% of the people I know who are doing this all had the same experience in the last week. Funds simply said, we're not investing. Usually they keep you on a hook. Usually, even if they're not, they're like, oh no, we'll keep talking. They don't fucking mean it. And you kind of have to keep it up, but they're not doing that anymore. They're flat out saying we're done. It's really fucked.
That's the thing. It's like people are very naive about this. Like, hey, look, all you people in these privileged entertainment jobs, right? Just go find work elsewhere. Well, guess what? Everyone else is looking for work elsewhere too, and the work's not expanding. You're now competing for worse wages for the same jobs, actually fewer of them. Like it's not. It doesn't work that way. It's not like, because here's again like this super naive understanding of economics where it's like, oh, it's a first world country. This is a first world country, okay, guys. Look, all you got to do is just go work in the factory. It's like, well, no, because as your economy develops and changes, the things that exist, the treadmills that are available, have altered to reflect the fact that you've been enslaving unregulated labor in other countries. So it's like
and you're running into the other side of it, which is because at the same time that this is happening, there's a weird crunch of I want to say experience in entertainment where, well, there are generally fewer jobs. Even generally, you still have to fill some level of those.
Yes.
But because there hasn't been for like 5 years, and this is true of games too, there hasn't been the normal intake of juniors. When I first started in games, how I got in was going like to every games conference with my resume and my fucking like a CD-ROM with all the levels and mods I'd made for Unreal and Half-Life. And I would just go person to person. I'd show it to them. We'd talk. And I just did that for a while. And this is how I got my first job. It's how my brother got his first job. It's how Kim behind Portal, she got her first job working GDC. It's how I met her. Like these people who do amazing work, you start from these sort of weird little groups. But there hasn't been conferences. There's no getting together for anyone for like 5 straight years. And so games programs and graduate programs and people trying to get into the industry, there's nothing except outsourcing work. And outsourcing work is the worst kind because you can never move up. You can never gain experience. You don't get to move your way up inside of a project. You're only ever 2D artist pixel sprite background person, because that's how they allocate you and that's how they set you up. You never get raised up because you're not on a project, you're on a job.
Yeah.
And that way that gets spread out is the same as every other industry when it happens. This is what happened in factories when you start to see artisans disappear. When people can't raise up, you see the quality of games suffer drastically because teams need to be composed of not bottom heavy people. They need to be top heavy.
Or they also get composed of free slave labor in the form of internships because they've been tricked into thinking, oh, this is just a part of the process. You just work.
No, they teach you to eat shit. I was part of a class action lawsuit against Lucasfilm and a few other companies because they artificially kept our wages low by reporting to each other when any of us applied to other companies in the same group. And this is a real thing. And at the same time, making sure that they never paid above certain wages for positions. So like because I was a director of marketing at LucasArts, director of marketing, I launched, I want to say 27 games, director of marketing, all digital marketing I did. And I was making $48,000 a year in San Francisco. Which is like, people think, wow, you're entertainment. You must, it's like, I could afford a beer every week. That was like, because rent and everything else was just what it was.
I keep coming back to The Half Has Never Been Told, which if no one has ever read, it's really fucking good and brutal, but really fucking good. And it puts a lot into perspective. But like, I remember, and they still happen. There are these debates constantly on YouTube because they all suck on YouTube. But there are all these debates about how, what's better? Western civilization, non-Western civilization, atheism, theism, or whatever. Which one ended slavery? Which one started it? And it's I love it because it's all like with the quotes. I love it because it's all just completely covering for the fact that none of these things had anything to do with it whatsoever. Capitalism was responsible for the transatlantic slave trade.
Yep.
Period. Because this is the basis of it. Turn everything fungible by turning everything into an equivalent surplus. And the fastest way to do that is just to take the people out and turn them into currency. Just have slaves. Don't pay them, just pay with them. So it's like that's basically what's going on under cover of night, because we have this weird, we still amazingly, I don't even know how we manage it. We still have this ideological conceit that it's just normal for people to work and be poor after working endlessly.
Yep.
Until they're old, and then they get to sit in their death box with their no friends that have
without Social Security.
Without Social Security, as the world burns. Yeah.
Well, and this is the road they're wanting to take, and it's one of the things that I've had this discussion, and we've talked about it, but it's the number one thing is people need to start looking at, like, hey, you need to vote selfishly. And not selfishly in the, I'm going to be idealized and think about how much. It's like, no, you vote selfishly. If there's a ballot measure to literally give you $1,000 a month, you vote for that. Fuck everyone else. Because that's what the wealthy are doing. And that's where they're investing their money in advertising. And it's what Musk is doing. It's all these people are doing that. And they're tricking you by saying, well, don't you understand? You have to accept how difficult things are, because this is the paternalism that, I mean, my video is going to be about. This is the paternalism at the heart of capital, where they sit here and they go, look, everyone could benefit from this, but we need to be careful because these are hard times.
That clip you showed me the other day when that rotund Indian man was at the Musk fan was at that conference. And he was like, "No, nobody will give me a second look. Will you give me a place in your company?" And everybody around him laughed. And here's the thing: I was a little bit uneasy watching that, as funny as it was.
It's
because
super cringe.
Because here's the thing, though: the fact of the matter is, and this is what this whole thing, the cringeness of it disguises. The people there weren't laughing because they were any smarter than he was, or he was any dumber than they were. The people there were laughing because that fellow had the very bad misfortune of having that experience in public, as opposed to with somebody else off the internet where people didn't see it. Because that's what Musk fanboys are. They're people who think they can just that's how it works. It's like, I'll show my medal and I will be anointed by one of these people.
That's a very fair point. Yeah. We had the reason we brought up the clip because we were talking about that one Doge asshole who effectively did the same thing, but he did it via email privately and got the job. I mean, he effectively said this. He's like, hey, I have no family and no other things. I heard, do you want anyone who's got no obligations except for working for you and making you happy? So he hired him, which is the same thing.
Yeah.
Man.
So you hate Cruelty Squad because we're living in it.
That ain't the reason. But it's a...
Why do you hate Cruelty Squad, by the way?
Well, we'll get into it in a moment. But first, if we're going to go into reviews...
A word from our sponsor. The one beer Brooks gets a month. Sorry.
Well, right now I'm not doing so great. But for a little while there, I got more than a beer a month. But yeah, it was tough. San Francisco is no fun. I did fight and get a raise because I won a Webby for the best online game. And I'm the person who put Lucasfilm in the cloud from being in servers in the basement. So they gave me a $9,000.
So whenever you see those, like,
that was what I got.
Yeah. Whenever you see those pornographic anime games constantly being shilled on Twitter, that's Brooks.
No, that's not Brooks. That's not Brooks. The Star Wars.
Well, that's a drawing by Brooks. Sorry.
The Star Wars.com login, the movement of everything to the cloud. I saved the company a fortune in hardware and everything else. Made them a ton of money, put them on social media. I got $9,000 extra a year as a salary increase. So that's because they know they can fuck with you. I used to make the joke that George lives off the dreams of his employees. And I kind of meant it in that very particular way that like Klosowski does in Living Currency.
Yeah.
Really frustrating. These people are really, really fucking frustrating.
Uh-huh.
But. So I heard you liked the movie.
I did, but I want to grab some wine first. Can we go to break for a second and then we'll continue?
I think we can. Okay. I think we can. One sec. Let me make sure that, because it's going to be a little fucked up for a second. One moment. But yeah, you can go.
Or earlier. So set your VCRs or I'll be pissed.
Right.
And so we can only run a half hour next week?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Oh, they just didn't want a half hour.
Hopefully
Okay.
you can both grab a single beer each with this.
Yeah.
At least before inflation hits.
Been really low quality. It's because there's been this 2-week King Me drinking binge.
Oh, it was some heavy stuff. I mean, tossing back the brews.
I gotta tell you, them 40s, they just don't go down like they used to.
Yeah, I know. They don't last as long.
I can only slam like 4 in a row before I just pass out.
Well, see, if
I
you
know,
have a good joint too, you have a bad edit.
Oh yeah, because then you got the fucking hunger. Anyway, go ahead and read the questionnaire that the young lady sent.
You sure it's not very interesting?
It's not, but just read it.
Okay. Questionnaire to all of the males at King Me. Oh, this comes from Stacy and Michelle, those girls who keep writing again. Yeah. How old are you? Well, I'm 12.
He's 12, and I'm about 27 now. Anyway,
how tall are you? We're both 6'2".
We're 6. Actually, I'm 6'2 and a half.
Yeah. Well.
That's why I got kicked off the basketball team.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 6'3". Maybe I'm 6'3". Who knows? Okay.
Who knows?
Do you play any instruments?
I play
the stereo.
Well, I'm a player. Does that count?
You're a player?
Oh, I'm a player. What type of music do you listen to?
Well, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. What's your phone number? Thanks for your time and cooperation. Feel free to add any personal information you feel is necessary. And be sure to include your name at the top of your response letter. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, that's it for this week's King Me. We're here at the Pimps, Players, and Private Eyes Club. Where we pimp, play, and private eye.
Yeah.
However, we'd better be going because we have very strong reason to believe that the police are on their juicy way, and if they are, the cameraman's screwed because he drives like a maniac.
Well, all right. Hey, this guy was pretty nice to let us use our car. Get the money. Get a shot of the drug money. Come on. There's drug money. Look at it.
The time will be 8:13. Somebody got in front of me. Some fat cow.
God damn it, I hate those pigs. There's Jeremy and his duckmobile.
Look behind us, there's skid marks.
You see those skid marks?
He just filled out when he left. That's smart.
That's smart. What is he, a dumbass? There's Jeremy.
Jeremy's kind of a crazy driver, too.
Objects in camera are not as far away as they actually look. We're charging green light here, kids. I don't recommend doing this at home.
That car, I mean, look at those tires. It's got such performance and such suspension on it. I mean, that's a high-powered vehicle that we're looking at right there, Roger.
You know, Bob, I'd have to say that young man is driving like a wildebeest.
Yeah, but I mean, look how wide those tires are. Look how stable it is as he swerves
Bob,
back.
That's got to hurt. That can't feel good. He's going to feel that in the morning.
He must have, like, really good stiff suspension.
You know, this reminds me of the game back in '72 when Bolin was playing against the Fatcocks. That was some game. Do you remember the one back in
Actually, yes, I do remember. That's when Phil Meacock was one of the best star players around.
Until he threw out his libido. Boy, that was a shame, wasn't it?
Yeah, and after he threw out his nutsack, too. Boy, that really in bad
his nutsack was never the same. Boy, I think this boy's had a one too many.
Yeah, I think he's scaring the man in the Miata.
Jester is wasted.
Just stopped in the middle of the street.
Uh-oh, the man in front of the Jester is about
to be turning around.
Turning into a driveway. This doesn't look good.
As you can see, the slalom of the Ford Escort is the most high-quality car you can get.
The Jester is, as I've said before, wasted. He drives like a juicy maniac. In fact, in this week's episode, you saw the Jester driving the very car he's in right now with a little less grace.
Actually, no, Bob, that was last week's episode. You are definitely mistaken.
Welcome back.
Hey, I think there was some copyright music in there.
Probably. We're not monetized yet, so who cares?
It can strike us still, just saying.
It won't happen.
Just can time that. They lost their streaming privileges for a week.
Yeah, that was at 82% speed with other audio artifacts behind it. It's fine.
All right, fingers crossed. I'm going to blame you, though. Okay, so.
Feel free.
Well, so
Opening
you
my
thought
beer.
a great movie was really bad and want to hear why.
I thought a great movie was really bad.
Nosferatu was really good. It was well done.
So, it was...
Okay, long story short, intro, we both saw Nosferatu. I thought it was excellent. If not Egger's most interesting movie by far. Brooks did not.
No, I actually found it to be probably his most lacking that I've seen of his. I
will actually agree with that, but it's also Robert Eggers. So I'll agree with that, though. Yeah,
I have a lot of issues with it. Let's start from what it does well.
Okay.
Eggers has a very, very particular style of filmmaking that is on its face immersive. Like the way he handles shots, how they're composed, the lighting, the style, how he sits on them, things are engrossing just sort of naturally within his films. That's one of the things that really stood out to me about Nosferatu is the angle of shots, the way he sort of hovered on darkness. Yes. Really phenomenal. His craft is excellent.
Well, I think one of the things I really loved about the cinematography in this one is that it took the kinds of shots that would have been rudimentary and primitive, the kinds of things that you would see in like the original Nosferatu, where it's like it's presented as if it's on a literal stage, as you can see here, and they're stagehands moving things symmetrically. But he elevates it. He executes it extremely well, and it has that uncanniness that older films had, but done in a way where it amplifies the sort of dreamlike effect that it has on viewing. No, you disagree? He even does that in The Lighthouse, in that scene where
did I say I disagree?
You were shaking your head.
No, I'm enjoying my beer. Sorry, that was not a no to you.
You were shaking your head at
I was
your
like,
beer. Well, I'm sorry that your beer is also correct about Nosferatu, even if you weren't.
It's ridiculous. It's a Jester King. If you're unaware of Jester King as a brewery, it's an excellent brewery. This is the Jester King Color 5. Beautiful bottle. Barrel-aged, re-fermented with blueberries.
Chilean wine in a steel cup. I haven't done my dishes, okay?
I even got out my horrifying nerd glass for this. So that's the good part. That's it.
I disagree. I think
every single actor in it is shit. The story is terrible. The actors are terrible.
I thought the actor who did Orlok was great.
He's fine.
I thought the actor who did what's his name? I know his name in Dracula. What's the realtor boss guy who's like the secret rat correspondent to Orlok?
Don't care.
He's good.
Really?
Yeah, he's good.
How?
He sells it. He's good. He's got that like.
He didn't for me.
Really?
She's the worst. She's hands down the worst part of the film, without even question to me. Weird, unsellable emotion that I never connected with throughout the entire film. Like horrifyingly. From the moment she was on screen, I didn't buy her weird, dispossessed 1,000-yard stares. I didn't get her as a character.
But I think that's deliberate.
Okay, so the shittiness is deliberate. Gotcha.
No, not the shittiness. I think like this shot, for example, in the trailer that you're looking at right now, the one just before this with the children screaming, that is a comical, tropey, outdated type of shot that is inorganic. That's deliberate. When you see like in that scene, where
which can work perfectly fine for you.
I'm
not gonna. No. It didn't work at all for me.
I'm going somewhere with this. In that scene, just as by way of illustration, in that scene where the carriage comes to pick up, I can't remember his name, not John Harker. He's going to be called Not John Harker. In that scene where Not John Harker is being approached by Orlok's empty carriage to take him to the castle, right? Like that is a scene that looks campy. It looks like something you would see in a really dated silent film. And that's what he's going for. He wants the silent film feel, but elevated with modern technology and filmmaking techniques. And I think he did a really good job there. And I think that character stilted sort of like stage actor.
Oh, she's so awful.
Is deliberate.
And I felt this dude, all right, he probably tried his best. The problem is I literally cannot see him. Like the problem is he's playing the same exact role.
As Tyler's bullshit.
What?
He's Tyler from the menu. That's why you can't handle it.
Oh,
He's in
no.
Actually, you know what I found really...
He plays the same character with Nicolas Cage. That's the problem. Renfeld? Did you see Renfeld?
No, I was just looking. I want to say Renford or Renfeld. The guy the guy I just said was an okay actor, the rat guy. That's his foil. I like that he was in 2 Dracula movies
playing the same guy and was actually better in the other one?
No, because Renfield is Renfield's the crazy guy in the asylum. You're thinking of John Harker is the guy.
I know the literal person is different. He played
no, but
Renfield
in Dracula is literally like his.
No,
boss,
I don't care about their
Nosferatu.
names. The archetypical character that he played as the servant confused guy who's sort of involved with Dracula, not sure what he's going to do and trying to get out of it, is literally what he did the entire film. Like
no,
because
he's not involved with Orlok. Orlok's a client for his company.
Yes, he's unwittingly playing the same character.
He escapes from Orlok's castle once. They're very different. They don't have that kind of relationship that Renfield and Dracula have.
No, I know you're describing it as nuance. He's the main character underneath a main guy who's super creepy, and I just couldn't see him. He plays much better, and I think he sold it much better.
You mean as a foil to the creepy guy?
Yeah.
But that's everybody, sure, I guess.
I still think he was better in that.
Everyman. This is who you would be thrust into this situation.
Would I? Like
no.
Again,
no, look at you.
I think the moment
you'd be Orlok, if anything.
I think. Well, again, here we start getting into like, and again, I don't give a fuck about any of the characters' names. Willem Dafoe, his character makes almost no sense why he does what he does when he does towards the end of it.
Because here's the thing, his character doesn't have a place in the story because Nosferatu isn't about Dracula and it doesn't have Van Helsing in it. So what they did something very strange. They took Nosferatu, which was its own thing. It was a ripoff in concept from Dracula, but it also did things that were different, like the rat plague and so on and so forth. And Orlok himself was a different type of character. It's why he's always a monster. He doesn't like present as human or whatever. They took elements from Anthony Hopkins' version of Van Helsing, and they inserted into a story in which he has literally nothing to do. And it was really frustrating.
I'm not disagreeing with this.
He literally does nothing in the story.
So here's the thing. Willem Dafoe, I don't think wasn't trying in this film. And he is a master at what he does. And especially with this director, he plays fucking weird super well.
Yes.
Not in this movie. In this movie,
no, this movie
it didn't work at all.
Strange. Like the scene when the scene when they first meet him in his like apartment, and it's like it's his kooky professor's apartment. He's got like a bunch of stuff. He's got like his weird nightcap on, and it's like you're just playing good guy lighthouse keeper from the lighthouse. It's the same role. Like
except shittier, because the other role gave him a chance to really have fun with it and was treated with, I think, a lot more care. Like the lighthouse, and I will say this is not that I don't like Eggers. I consider The Lighthouse to be one of the better films. But this movie, we'll get to like my biggest problem with it.
Phenomenal.
We'll get to my biggest problem with this film at the end. But there's a couple other things. So, what country does this take place in? Because I'm trying to understand how geography works, where he took a horse in a day's or two ride to get there, but then Nosferatu himself took a boat back somehow.
Hang on. So it takes place basically in Ukraine, right? So it's
no. I actually looked through the script. I actually kind of know the answer.
It's in Germany. So it takes place in the fictional German town of Visborg, where everybody speaks English in a British accent.
Except for Willem Dafoe. Because that makes a lot of sense. He's the British guy. He's Van Helsing. He's actually the German, but he speaks with no accent. He's an American accent.
Oh, you're right. He's the
so he's literally the only German guy, but the other characters have British names. Here's
the thing. I would have been fine. Oh, it's like
when he took the boat back, I was like, wait, why is he taking a boat?
Well, I think the logic is that traveling by land with the giant coffin would be extremely difficult, in addition to the fact that according to vampire lore, vampires cannot cross running bodies of water. So he can't go over rivers. So they have to take, here's
the thing. I don't give a shit, whatever you're about to say, because they never said this in the fucking movie. So if you want to add vampire lore to this, that's fine. But this was never said in the fucking movie.
It's fine. But also, by the same token, they didn't actually specify the geography, which is raising the issues that you're bringing up. So I'm going to put that back at you.
They actually do bring up the geography.
Did they? I can't remember.
Yes, they do. They actually talk about the German town that they're in, where they're going
but
to.
It's fictional. It's a fictional Germany. It's a fictional Germany that faces the ocean, okay?
But they say where they're going and the town they're going to, which is in southern eastern fucking
Germany's
Europe.
not Germany's not landlocked. Germany faces the Baltic Sea. So you can
the Baltic Sea, sure.
Yeah.
Where do you think Nosferatu is? Do you think he's along the northern coast? No.
He turned into a wolf and he relocated to a coastal city and he went from there, okay? As he is known to do. And he dug underground when it was daytime, like in Minecraft.
That part I found confusing. I also think the voice is the stupidest fucking voice they could have ever chosen.
For Orla?
Nosferatu.
I like the voice. No, I actually that part at first I was like, okay, I didn't dig it, but then later on I did, and I'll tell you why.
Because you realized he was a gigantic purring cat.
No, it's when I noticed his movements, because those were very interesting. The way he walks. So in that scene where he signed the papers and he walks away with the amulet or the locket, right? He's like, "Wait, you got my locket." And as he's walking away, it was very strange because he seemed to be like stepping as if all of his limbs were on strings. And what they were going for, and I think they actually succeeded, is the idea that this is not
the worst fucking voice ever.
This is not a man. This is something else that is manipulating a corpse and is basically operating his ribcage like a bellows, which is why he's constantly exhaling. Like,
yeah, except like they never substantiated anything of what you said, and you're talking about some slight movement of how he operated.
They don't have it's
because he had a puppet.
They don't have
because he
to
was a puppet.
Because
it was a puppet in special effect. Like they did that.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like the. So wait. Oh, see, this is why all of these things are like. Every one of these like annoys, and they annoy a little bit more, and they continually annoy more, and it becomes weird things like. Why did she so I have so many questions about the final scene. Spoilers. Nosferatu kills her in the end, like sexually, effectively. Like he cucks the main character. And how? Like how? Because he starts eating her boob, but she has no wounds.
We can't actually establish this on screen, but I don't know.
We can on
for certain that she
screen,
has no
absolutely.
wounds.
You can establish that she has no wounds, and you can see the wound actually earlier. Just so you know, I can send you the screenshots. My brother and I went through this very confused, trying to figure out, so was it in her head? Was it just blood we saw? No, there's a gaping wound in her chest, and he eats. But then there's no wound on her chest later. The sun heals her, is what someone told me, which I fucking love answers like that. Why did she know the sun would kill him? Why did the sun kill him? I know that he's a vampire. I'm not stupid, but again, literally never established in any way that he's
Hang on.
actually a
How
vampire.
do you tell that there's no wound on her when she's like got Orlok on top of her in the last scene? You can't see her chest.
There's actually a scene, if you rewind slightly, you can see, you can. And the wound is particularly her upper breast here.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
And that's like,
okay, continuity error. Okay.
It's kind of a big, we watch her like so if there is a thing that I dig about the idea of vampires is that they are passion, desire, sexuality as a force. And that's what they feed off of. And I like the plays of that. I like the language of it, the mythology. I think it's very fascinating. So when they're effectively having sex and he's feeding on her and she's giving herself to him, and it's kind of this interesting exchange, despite his voice, which is like the least erotic. This is like, not even slightly interestingly erotic, even in like a gross way. Like
no, the mustache really escalates that element.
And again,
well. It's
like
gross.
Society as a movie does erotic in really gross, fucked up ways that makes you uncomfortable. This was just like
gross.
What?
Yeah.
Huh? So all of that, how did anyone know that he would die? How did she know? Why wouldn't Dracula care? Like, why wouldn't Nosferatu go, hey, oh shit, sunrise is in an hour. I'm going to eat you tomorrow. Can I eat you tomorrow?
Well, I think the implication was that she was some other kind of entity as well. And so he was essentially hypnotized in reverse, which is why he didn't notice that the sun was coming up.
So here's why all this is a problem, though. Nosferatu, which, as you said, is a ripoff of Dracula, the original film actually establishes all of these rules.
Yeah.
They actually go through it because it doesn't matter if you know what Dracula is. Even people back then knew what it was. It's in the story. We need to know what works because some things don't, as they revealed. Shit that we assume works on Dracula doesn't. And they go out of their way to show us that, well, this is a little bit of a different thing. Maybe he's not a Dracula. He is. They're lying to you and they're faking it the whole time. And so, what are the rules?
I mean, no. He is different. Like they're.
But no, that's what that he's different is my point.
Yes.
Because as soon as you go, well, he's not normal vampire. It's like, oh, so then you get to choose whatever rules do and don't work without having to ever establish them and have them pay off in any meaningful way. The answer is yes. Gets to do whatever he fucking wants. And I found that it was a very unsatisfying film in that side. Again, I very much dig the visuals, and I found the score haunting. I found the sound design especially pretty good, except for the voice, which I thought was awful. The death scene for Van Helsing was, why did he die? Why did he burn himself alive?
Van Helsing didn't burn himself alive.
He did. He stayed.
No, he left. He's in the last scene.
Right, but
he shows up. He shows up in.
They
the room.
ran out, and he stayed there, and then he's in the last
he
scene.
stayed there to continue burning down the crypt.
How was he behind them then?
What's that?
They went right to it. So how was he behind them?
And they burned it down, and then he continued burning it down. And then after they left, running back to the house where Nosferatu
he ran faster than them.
No,
to catch up.
He was behind them. Like
but by 10 feet. By not,
we don't know
not
how
like
we don't know
5
how long
minutes.
they were there. We don't know how long they were there.
No, we don't. We just know that they ran and he stayed doing things, and then he's there.
But he didn't burn alive. He got back to the house and he was alive.
Why? Why did he stay and continue to burn it? What is his
Because
thing? What is his drive? Who is this character?
Because I think the idea was that in the event that they were wrong because they were experimenting. In the event that they were wrong and she wasn't able to keep him there till sunlight, he wouldn't have safe harbor at the crypt. So they were hedging their bets essentially, which I think is fair.
Here's my biggest issue
what would
with
probably
it,
actually happen.
Have you? Did you ever see the movie House That Jack Built?
No.
So House That Jack Built, a lot of people really like. It's another auteur filmmaker who I really like. He's a creator of Nymphomania series, and God damn it, my brain is not working for me today. Sorry. Wonderful filmmaker. God damn it, you're killing my brain fucking today. One sec, I'll just fucking Google it. Lars Van Trier. So Lars Van Trier, who I adored all of his films up until House That Jack Built. I mean, I loved his movies. I have them all on Blu-ray. I had the Criterion Collection. I adored his films for a long time. But House That Jack Built was a unique thing he did that was kind of like to Lars Van Trier. When I say that, it's like it did all of his things in a way that was very open and very particular. And in a way that if you took 5 minutes, and my brain couldn't help but do it, you could see those same techniques in all of his previous films. And suddenly the magic disappeared for all of his other movies for me because of how House That Jack Built was made. It's not saying any of them are bad films. They're still great films, but I couldn't enjoy them anymore. I am terrified now to watch The Lighthouse again because there's stuff in Nosferatu that I went, oh, that's, my brain started seeing, oh, this is how he did, this is how he drove this kind of feeling in The Witch. This is how he did it there. And my brain is like protecting me from doing it with The Lighthouse because I really, really love The Lighthouse. But I feel like it's my biggest gripe is it's so blatantly the filmmaker's own fingerprint on something that is so not his own that you can actually extricate his fingerprint and see it retroactively in the things that he's made. Does that make sense as I say it?
Yeah, no. This was Nosferatu by way of the director of The Lighthouse. And it did feel like the guy who did The Lighthouse just did Nosferatu in the style of The Lighthouse.
And it was like when Gus Van Sant did Psycho, same thing. It made all of Gus Van Sant's other movies go, oh, fuck, this is how he does his thing.
And it annoyed me because The Lighthouse is really good as like an original creation.
It's a masterpiece of originality.
When he writes his own stuff, it's really good. And I felt like this was like Django Unchained, which in my opinion, honestly, was the worst Quentin Tarantino film. Why? Because it was literally him taking his style and doing a thing with it instead of just making a movie.
I actually really agree with you on that, which I didn't think I would agree with you on Tarantino thoughts. I put it at the bottom of all of his films because, and a lot of people really hate on Hateful Eight. I actually think it's probably one of his best.
Hateful Eight was the thing by way of Tarantino, and it was really good.
But it was Tarantino also at his best, I think. Yes. Like it was, you could see his fingerprints in there and what he did, but he didn't do it in a way like this, where it's almost him layered on top. You could still feel that it was his creative energy in a lot of choices, including to have, of all people, poke their head up and have their head blown off by a shotgun. Like the fun in that film, on top of the darkness, on top of the same stuff that made Reservoir Dogs what it was, that thing is... That's fantastic. Django is very much like
it was a good movie. It was just very much like the.
It had a handful of really great scenes. I'm hesitant to say it was a good movie.
You know what a great example of this is, by the way. Django Unchained was like Quentin Tarantino's Breath of the Wild.
No, Django Unchained was his
it was his Elden Ring, okay? So
no. Django was just weak because at the same time
you're just going to disagree with me that it's his Elden Ring. You're just going to allow me to elaborate.
I don't care about Elden Ring, so it's hard for me to know how it would do it.
Oh my god!
But
okay, it's got really good. It's got really good.
But
bits.
bookending that, you've got like Kill Bill. The duology of Kill Bill is like, to me, there's a reason Tarantino hasn't gone back to that pool of the Pulp Fiction Reservoir Dog thing, because Kill Bill won. Like, that's the end of that era. So that's why he started striking out and trying to do the Western thing. Django was his first try on that. I mean, it's his true romance to his later films. It's fine. It's just not good. It hit a few things. Hateful Eight is the masterpiece of masterpieces. I was fortunate to see it in 70 millimeter Panavision at the Cinerama Dome in LA, and where they actually had the fucking halftime, where the break, and everyone went out and everyone's like having to relax. It was amazing to watch it straight through. And I still think it's one of my favorite films. Like, Hateful Eight is a masterpiece, but it didn't retroactively ruin other works for him, because I didn't care for Django, and the other stuff stands on its own. Lars von Trier, I can't go back. I watch Magnolia. God damn it!
Like the thing that I don't like.
This happened like 8 years ago now.
I think
just like
Nosferatu
ruined me.
I think Nosferatu is a good movie overall, but I think I agree with you on this point.
Melancholia, thank you.
One of the things that I left I left it with was this horrible idea, because I think he was planning to do the Wolfman next, and all I was thinking at the end when I heard that is like, oh, so it's going to be the Wolfman, but with the cinematography of the Lighthouse, and halfway through, Willem Dafoe is going to show up, and he's going to play the same character. And I already know what this movie is, and it's going to be worse than the one with
because
it's going to be less inventive. Because like here's the thing,
Nosferatu is a fingerprint.
Yeah,
again,
but here's the thing.
I'm not saying it's badly made.
This isn't your show. This is our show. Here's the thing. When in like the who was it? It wasn't Coppola. Who did the was it Coppola? Who did the Dracula with Gary Oldman?
That's a great question.
It was Coppola. It was Coppola.
Okay,
that's right. Why did I doubt that? When they introduce Van Helsing's character, they introduce him early, and he's a
God
scientist.
damn, that movie was good.
It was the non-shitty version of this movie.
Yes, I like
both of them. And I like both of them. In fact, here's the thing: the introduction of Dracula is closer to the introduction of Orlok than the introduction of Orlok in the actual Nosferatu is to the introduction of Orlok in the original Nosferatu.
I don't know these characters' names.
Okay, well, you know what Nosferatu is.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know the extended universe of Dracula, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about Dracula and Nosferatu as two separate entities. Orlok is what Dracula is called in Nosferatu.
Yes, and Kite Man is who? Sorry, go ahead.
So in Nosferatu, the introduction of Orlok has more in common with the introduction of Dracula in Coppola's Dracula than it does with Orlok in the two previous versions of Nosferatu. It's very similar. They even do similar things like shadows and whatnot, where it's like he like appears in different parts of the room. He's like, this shadow is moving on the wall independently, and it's campy, but it works. I think that's the one scene I think in Nosferatu that was done like exceptionally well. They did the thing from Coppola's Dracula slightly better in terms of it being intimidating and being like wrong seeming. I wish it had taken more time, but which is a weird thing to say for a movie that drags as much as this one does.
So,
yeah.
And again, I'm not sure it was necessarily a remake, but did you ever see Herzog's Nosferatu, which is what
That's what I was talking about. The one, actually, did you know about Herzog's Nosferatu? They literally released like thousands of rats, and they just released an actual plague of rats in the town they were filming in.
I believe that.
I
believe that. That's a Herzog thing to do. That's without a question a Herzog thing to do.
Yeah. And it's a cool shot because they have them all like outside, like just eating and going about their day with like thousands of rats around, but then they couldn't get a hold of them afterwards.
Yeah, we have this story as a thing. I can name 3 movies that are better than it that are the same story, effectively. And it's kind of like They're not as beautifully shot. I would say Coppola's doesn't have the panache that this one does, because again, Eggers, his visual, he's phenomenal at framing and setting things up. As you mentioned, the sort of play or almost flat aesthetic, yes, I adored throughout. It's another movie that I love that did this. You ever see Clute? Almost no one who's your age will. Clute.
K? With a K?
No, it's okay. Clute. Clute. It's a very good film, by the way, but it was shot flat as hell. Here, I'll show.
No, it's with a K. It's with a K.
Klute.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the Donald Sutherland movie.
Yeah, with Jane Fonda.
Yeah. I know the cover. I don't know the.
They have a lot of really amazing shots. Like you can see this one. This is a behind the shoulder, over the shoulder shot. But Clute goes out of its way to do a handful of scenes that are straight on to it, and they go out of their way to frame it flat. And it's a thing that you don't see very often because people are trying to do a lot with it, but it's a very unique style Clute really uses a lot. And I mean, Jane Fonda's phenomenal. That's why she won a fucking Oscar. But it's really interesting how they do that same thing. And it's when you see interesting techniques that are rare, and flat done well is something you don't see. Again, I'm having to pull back to 1979 fucking film that no one's heard of. Like, flat is not done often. That is really cool to be able to see. And I think it's a masterpiece of skill. I just think it's a shitty movie.
I don't think it's a shitty movie, but I agree with your. I think I agree with your criticisms overall. I just don't think it brings it down to the point of being a shitty movie.
No, it's how much we weight those things. I don't think. Yeah, generally we. Don't
I think
disagree
I
on
will.
the things.
Look. Hey, I will meet you halfway. It is a really shitty Eggers movie. Like I was.
It's his worst film.
It is his worst film. However, to be clear, Eggers films are phenomenally good. So it's like his worst film is like just a good.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't say it's his worst film. Like that's not. I would just say it's the least of, I don't know, the four major
it's below
Dracula
the Witch.
films.
Like I personally,
if we put it up against Herzog's is better. I actually think Herzog's film is better and more entertaining overall. It's not as well filmed, but I think it hits notes and it does what it does really well. 1992's Dracula.
I think they're different. I think they're too different. I think here's the problem I had with his Nosferatu. It didn't add anything. It like he had some interesting ideas in terms of how he depicted Orlok, in terms of like sort of the background implied lore of the character and how he functioned. He changed him from being a vampire to being, or from changing vampires as a thing to being like, this is a demonically possessed corpse, as opposed to this is a person who has vampirism, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. Like Dracula in Coppola's Dracula is fundamentally a human character. Orlok in Nosferatu is not a human character. He's prone to like passions and things like that, but he's not human. There's not like a person there that you're capable of having sympathy with. And that's, I think, an interesting distinction between a lot of modern depictions of Dracula and like that particular.
This is like,
which weirdly, by the way, weirdly, it's actually more faithful to the novel Dracula and like to the old like who's that guy who plays Grand Moff Tarkin again? You know, the Hammer Dracula with Christopher Lee, like that. Yeah, like it's closer. It's closer to that one.
God damn it!
You forgot the name?
I did. And I don't know why, because one of my favorite jobs I had
Stephen
was
Stanton. No, it's a voice actor.
That's not him.
No, it's shit.
The actor who played Tarkin. We had a 3D sculpt of his
Peter
head.
Cushing. Peter Cushing.
Yeah, Peter Cushing. We had a 3D sculpt of his head that was done for the films that was down in LA. And me and another guy had to drive from San Francisco down to LA to deliver it for a 3D scanning shoot for a game. And that was like, I got to carry it in the car. It was like this big ass fucking Cushing head.
You got to carry the rape of Peter Cushing's identity in the car.
Yeah, it was a big old head. It's pretty cool.
But like, here's you know what? Honestly, even the old what's his name? You know, the classic Dracula, not the Hammer film one, the one before that, the black and white one. What's his name again? Who's that like Eastern European actor? He was also in he was in that movie about the director of the Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know what I'm talking about? That Tim it was I think it was a Tim Burton directed, but the one with
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
Ugh!
Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff.
Bela Lugosi.
Good job, chat.
Like this one tried to combine weirdly, like this version of Nosferatu was actually closer to the depiction of Dracula in the original novel in terms of like the nature of the character versus every Dracula movie before, with the exception I think of the Hammer one. But also at the same time they tried to bring in like the characters from the Coppola film, like the way in which like this version of not Van Helsing was basically a combination of the Van Helsing from the Lugosi film and from the Coppola one with Anthony Hopkins, but less somehow. Like he didn't do anything. We never actually see him. Like the closest we get is like he has like an enlightened view of not restraining people who are in fits, I guess, but we never actually see him like demonstrate any knowledge of anything. He's just kind of kooky and is just sort of open to the idea like, oh, there's a demon or a vampire or something, but that's it. And I think the worst part about this film is it spends so much time on non-important characters like the family, like the brother-in-law, when it should be spending time on Willem Dafoe, letting him flesh out a little bit.
I just have I don't know. Again, all these things are weighted different for everyone. Again, it's an opinion thing, but all this shit just like made it sink like a goddamn brick as far as I'm concerned. Just every time I'd go, oh, and then it'd be like, oh, the voice. Oh, and then she's terrible. Like I will fucking just say, I'll die on that hill as that opinion is just true by God's will alone. Like she's so awful. I just want her to not be anything again. She's just like, God damn. Oh, she's awful. But hey, you know, what am I to say? Hey, it's just not my movie. Just ain't my movie Sunday.
I liked it. I think it has issues, but I think it was very effective. It has continuity issues that are not explained and are possibly not continuity issues, but it is definitely the weakest of Eggers' movies. Which is I wasn't fond of The Witch, to be honest. Did you like The Witch?
I like The Witch for what it was, and I would probably say
like it's one that I appreciated, but
the Lighthouse is him refining what The Witch kind of was trying to do. And I get it. And it was like, but as far as what The Witch did, I think it did a very excellent job of it.
Like The Lighthouse is a film I've actually watched probably like 100 times by now.
I've watched it a significant number of times.
It's really good. I don't think I've watched any other Eggers movie like that though. And I think
it's the only one like that. I think I watched The Witch twice. I've watched Nosferatu more than once just because I was enjoying and kind of laughing at some scenes.
The Northman was like, I got the concept, but I was bored by it.
I made it halfway through and then I stopped.
It was there was one review that had the best description of it, the most apt description of it I can think of, which is this movie has the heaviest concentration of naked men screaming at each other of any film in Hollywood history. And it's like I was just bored by it because it's like, well, what would it actually be like to be a Viking? And I'm like, okay, cool. Why does this have to be 3 hours? Like, I'm bored. I don't. This isn't.
It doesn't have to be 3 hours. That's for goddamn sure.
It like I didn't get anything from it. It's like
no one did.
Wow. Good.
But again,
too bad for that guy.
All
guess.
of those same tricks were what was used in Nosferatu.
Yeah, but at least Nosferatu was a horror movie, so it was somewhat interesting.
Was it? So that's the other part. There was no part that I found intense.
I found the I actually found the introduction like when he gets to the castle very intense. I thought that was very good. I thought that was actually very good. I think the transition from like, oh, it's just a guy in a robe to, oh, this is actually like something's very wrong. I thought that was actually very effectively done.
Wow. I can't imagine why we would be expecting that something would be wrong with that guy.
But it did. But that's the thing, though. It took like a trite, overplayed thing that was done before and did it really effectively, so you were still tense. I thought it was very
for you. For me, I
thought
there
it
was
took
nothing in it
took,
that was tense. There was, again, Renfeld, and I like this guy. I think he's good in a lot of stuff. Renfeld had, first half is far better than the second half. They kind of didn't know what to do with the hilarious allegory of what that film was. But that had more intensity in terms of not knowing what was going to happen or how things would land. Like this one was so exceptionally predictable. Like if you didn't know how this movie would end in the first 5 minutes, you just probably never.
You didn't know it was a ripoff of Dracula called Nosferatu.
I mean, literally every beat of the movie is predictable, though, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to do those remakes. I would say that's not necessarily true in the same way for Herzog's, who plays the things in different orders and introduces things suddenly and quickly and harshly versus
so does this one. Like there's no Van Helsing character in the original. It's literally the woman who discovers the rules.
But that's literally like one of the things that makes this suck is why is Van Helsing in this and why do we know who that is and why is that
I've got a better
that's extended universe.
I've got a better one, honestly.
It felt the same as like at the end of
But here's the thing though. Like I actually disagree. Because I think the interest in Dracula is fundamentally in like this. This is what I get from horror movies like this. Like, have you ever seen Kingdom, the Korean Netflix zombie film? It's like that was really good. But the most interesting parts about that were like smart people from the period using contemporary methods to figure it out, and like that's the interest in the Van Helsing character is it turns the horror into a mystery, and you're sort of watching Columbo with spookier, higher stakes, and that's enjoyable. The thing that disappointed me about this is that they introduced the character, that's his role, and then he just doesn't. Like the whole mystery is just like, oh, we just have to let him get a victim. It's like, okay, so you were useless then because this would have happened. That's the thing. It's like the vampire already wanted to like eat the woman. So you didn't do anything. He just did the thing he was going to do, and that would have happened anyways.
It was a bad time for Skarsgård, to say the least. It was a bad time for Skarsgård because Nosferatu, and then at the same time, he was also in another reboot of a beloved semi-horror action series of a dark main character that, if you didn't know, isn't very good. The reboot of The Crow was not.
It is. Oh. I think this one's I think he'll be fine. I think generally the response to Nosferatu has been generally good.
You think so?
It's like what were
it's been loved. I am in
the audience score is definitely lower than the critic score, which I tend to trust more these days. Especially because this is fundamentally like, here's the thing. Eggers is like an auteur. He's like
he is.
These are sophisticated art films for discriminating critics.
Well, I mean, I think we could say that before this movie.
But this isn't though. This is just.
This moved him out of that realm for me because.
Well, that's the thing. It is.
That space is for like my buddy Panos Cosmatos, who did Under Black Rainbow, who did Mandy. That's an auteur artist, and I think before this I would have kept Eggers in that category, but this pulled him straight the fuck out.
No, this was just like retro schlock. This was just like.
Yeah, it's schlock.
This is schlock from 100 years ago now.
Yeah, but but an artist can elevate.
I think in terms of Nosferatu, the original source material, I think it benefited from his touch. I do, however, think the original source material was intrinsically impoverished, and other versions of Dracula did it better and were simply more interesting as a whole. Because like once they got past the unique presentation, he clearly didn't have an intelligent way to like end it. And so when you actually like look back on it, it's like literally the protagonist, there was no struggle. The protagonists didn't do anything. They just burned down an irrelevant building, maybe for good reasons or for like logical reasons, maybe for not. The vampire just did what he would do.
But the other side is like the critic reviews, and this is again why, like to your point of why not to trust. I don't trust the fucking critic score almost at all anymore, unless it's like a really hilarious gap, and then I really start reading. But one of the best horror movies in years from The Atlantic, the darkest movie of the year, which, fuck you. I can show you a handful of films from 2024. Did you see Terrifier 3? Fairly darker, I would say.
How about The Substance?
Substance darker? Terrifier 3 is definitely darker.
The Substance is easily one of the most. The Substance is difficult, and it's actually
have you seen Terrifier 3?
But weirdly though, actually, now that you mention it, The Substance is actually kind of in the same genre, but it is elevated. It has a point, like it has interest. This is just, oh my god, boys, it's Orlok. It's like,
I mean, I again, this is where we start getting into like the debate about it, because when you start talking about like horror, Men, did you see Men?
All I thought of when you said that was Men.
I know it's a bad name because it'll be fucked for searches. Men is fucking brilliant. Like as a film,
I have to watch Adolescence still. Apparently that's very good.
It is. All 4 episodes are phenomenal. But there are so many,
right?
What?
This is from 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is Alex Garland.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
That one got a terrible audience score.
Yep. That's one of the times when it's like, hey, guess what? Audience stupid.
Although, I will say this, his Annihilation was terrible.
I didn't care for Annihilation. But Men, I thought was very, very good. And the ending, I really, again, building up the intensity of things, how these things work. When you talk about horror, the ability for you to put art house and horror together is a real thing, and it has happened constantly. And he had a chance to really make something here that was interesting because he comes from that. The Witch is that. The Witch is like that intention of that space. I just mentioned fucking Mandy as like a perfect example of that as well. If you haven't seen Titan, Titan is just a couple years old. That's fucking crazy art house horror. Cronenberg just did Crimes of the Future. I mean, David Cronenberg across the board has just had a run of phenomenal, fucked up, really dark, really smart art house horror films. I mean, he's maybe the king of it right now.
Canadian, by the way. Just saying.
Fair. But you can go back to like one of my favorite art house horrors of all time because it's absolutely unsettling and difficult to watch is Under the Skin. Under the Skin is
that's the one with what's her face?
ScarJo.
Yeah.
And I love to tell people about it because
that one came out when I was a teenager. That's when I.
But you can imagine here's how few people cared about that movie is Scarlett Johansson is full frontal nude in it and no one cared. Yep. because her nudity is actually uncomfortable and kind of difficult. And she's a fucking goddess for doing this film in my mind. Like I will always love her. The stories of what she did, because she wasn't first pick for it and what she did to do it. There are scenes literally, people don't know this. If you haven't seen it, she's driving around in a van trying to pick guys up. That's hidden camera footage. That's real shit. It's actually Scarlett Johansson in a van.
She actually killed people. Yeah.
No, she actually drove around and like pulled up to random dudes and was like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to come back to my place? Like, and their reactions are fucking priceless because it turns out that's not actually something that guys super want, sort of. It's
in their heads in a cartoon setting where they already know that the external parameters are like, hey, everything's safe. This isn't scary. You're not going to die. Nothing's creepy or
she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal. Funny Games, which I think the French version, but also the American are phenomenal. That's dark horror. Strickland's Barbarian Sound Studio is like top tier.
All these aren't from 2024 though, so it's all cheating.
All these are like the last decade or so. Like, I Saw the TV Glow was 2024. I'd say that's art house horror.
That's stretching it a little bit.
No, I mean,
I think it's stretching it a little bit. How about? Nah, art house horror is something like.
No, I would argue that that is. I mean, I found it that way. Like, as everything shifts for how the characters sort of sense reality. And the final shot of the film, I mean, sits with me in my stomach as I even think about it now. There's very few films that do that.
I think, okay, I look, I'll grant you this. I think there's two problems going on. First of all, it had the guy from Detective Pikachu, which I didn't like. But secondly, I think it was marketed very badly. So I think I need to rewatch that one.
I would suggest it. It's on my list of like. It's on my list of like movies. We went through like my Plex list of like the films. I Saw the TV Glow is in there. It's a lot of people believe, and it probably is like more of a trans allegory, but I think it is just squarely about the uncertainty of being that we experience as we're teenagers. Like, it is clearly focused in one direction, but I think it's a universal film.
Yeah.
I think it's a universal film myself, but
I just don't know if I'd go like the art house direction with it, but I agree. Mostly, to be honest, I think I have a warped view.
That's absolutely art house.
I think I have a warped view of art house, because like I think what's happened is art house, quote unquote, that sort of distinct, that very trope breaking. Is this really in a Hollywood movie, or is this really in like a thing that's on big screens? Sort of like visual style is something that's been sort of tropified a little bit, and so I don't know if I'm just gonna concede to you, but I also
how about then the X trilogy, because I think the third one landed in 2024.
Did I even see that? Hang on.
X, Pearl, and Triple X.
No, I haven't even seen that shit.
They're great. They're great. Mia Goth kills it. She kills it in that, and Cronenberg's other film, Infinity Pool. She is fucking ridiculous in that. Like, she's like pure sexual energy in that, like in a really fucking crazy way. She's a very fucking crazy character. That's a good film. She's great. God, yeah, X, yeah.
Mia Goth looks like somebody from the new Dune movies, even though she's not.
I mean, she's fascinating because I've always appreciated her because one of the things that she shows off that I think most people don't understand is like the nature of what it means to be like a model or attractive or someone who has makeup put on, because she can have looks that are like drop dead beyond sexy, but also this like innocent, sweet thing all the way. Like she's deeply versatile in how she looks, but also in sort of how she sort of behaves in it.
Hey, did you hear about the Guillermo del Toro? Did I just say Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, you did.
Jesus Christ. The Del Toro movie coming out, the Frankenstein.
I did love Pinocchio. If you didn't see Pinocchio, you should.
I haven't seen Pinocchio, but
his Pinocchio is excellent.
He's making Frankenstein. Is it animated or is it live action? I think it's live action.
I'm going to assume live action, probably.
Yeah, that's with Mia Goth and someone who I haven't seen in forever. It's got Charles Dance in it, but it also has Christoph Waltz, and I feel like Christoph Waltz has just disappeared.
Wow.
Like after
if you haven't seen Pinocchio, should be on everyone's list. It's an amazing retelling. It is not kid friendly.
Yeah, he hasn't actually been in anything since Spectre, has he?
Guillermo del Toro?
No, Christoph Waltz.
Oh, Guillermo del Toro was also
he was in No Time to Die.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's a great character in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, actually. So that's my favorite thing to remember every time is that he's in It's Always Sunny. Do you know this? It's like one of mine. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's great. He plays Pappy McPoyle. who's like a crazy lunatic, like redneck weirdo who wears a hat. I fucking love him. Oh, he's great. Can you believe they got Guillermo del Toro to do this shit? That's good stuff. I know he was in Death Stranding, but I try to avoid talking about that.
All right, Brooks, it's been fun.
It has. It's been solid.
I want to go. I want to go get sunshine while it still exists.
You do that,
guys.
Killing of a Sacred Deer. I'm looking through my Plex. Killing of a Sacred Deer would go on my list too.
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, if you like what we do and you want to help support the channel, we are a mere, I think we've actually crossed the threshold. We are 42 subscribers away from being able to monetize. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And we will be back on Monday. We are doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Are we agreed on that?
Yes, that seems to be the case.
All right. We will be back on Monday. Have a good night, everyone. Make sure you like and share the stream. Ta-ta. Unless you had any final words.
No.
Well, good.